Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Sparrows. Hey, it's been an entire week. That's a long time, I hear. Every day seems like it takes forever for me, so it doesn't feel like a long time. It feels like an infinitesimally long time. But we are here again tonight to say hello to some of our favorite pirates, our favorite sky pirates, and successful sky pirates at that. I mean, you guys have just escaped some pretty serious events, haven't you? But, you know, we'll get to the recap in a moment. The first thing that we're going to do is go around and say hello to everybody. You know, allow the audience to know that you exist. Give them a little bit of something about your character. And then we'll move on to the next individual as we find out a little more about each one of their respective characters and where they came from. As is the usual custom, I will be rolling random to see who gets to go first tonight as they describe a scene from their childhood.
I swear to God, Ty, if you hit me again this time, I'm using my ace.
I'm gonna re-roll. There we go. Kai, you're up first this time.
Yo, what's up, gang? My name's Kai Roche. You can catch me here on Twitch at Mascane. I'm kind of a streamer now. You know what's up. I play Lyfae, first mate of the Sparrows. You know, he's a skater, pirate, ninja samurai, and it's how it is. I keep saying, but you know.
You know. So, what is your childhood memory we're getting to view today?
Today, we see a small Lyfae popping into a door. Outside, you can hear the sounds of people, tons and tons of people, and you can pay attention to that rapidly as the kid has his hands covering over his ears. He's looking around, and it seems like all this noise is bothering him as he pokes into this shop. Around him, there is a lot of garbage. Essentially garbage, junk, scrap, this and that, a tinker's holiday. As he's going about in this place, it was a shop. He saw it was a shop. He's looking around, poking through things, and some of them have tags on them, but no prices. And eventually, Lyfae stumbles across this little sort of clicky functioning machine in front of him. As he starts trying to reach up towards the top shelf of this thing, he just starts clambering up, and the whole shelf just comes down with him. This clicky machine clanks off his skull, lands on the ground, and as it hits the ground, he starts moving towards it. And out of the darkness, this red clawed hand, tiny, minusculely clawed hand, pokes out and grabs a hold of it and pulls it back in behind the shelf. And he moves over towards it, and you can see him looking down at a Skixon. It's tiny. It's absolutely tiny. And as he tries to figure out if it is a Skixon or a rat, you can see it poke up towards him. How much do you want for it? What? And the two of them barter it out as a small red prey offers a also small Lyfae his clicky machine so he can listen to his music. So he doesn't have to listen to all the loud noises outside.
Aw, and we see where that headset that he's always wearing to ignore all of you came from. We move on from there, and I'm going to go counterclockwise to my view so that I don't upset Benjamin again. And we're going to go to Nora first.
Hey, I'm Nora, also known as Azedidine in the chat, playing Clarion Bell tonight, as always. And, yeah. Clarion didn't really have a childhood, but she did have a few years of formative experiences, quite a few years, in a rather drab and evil place that she knows only as the Master's Estate. And I think we'll zoom in on a scene where she is adjusting. The Master is this gnarled man who looks about 100 years too old, and his skin is stretched over his frame, and he's got like machinery sticking out of his back that is helping to keep him alive, and she is adjusting that machinery for him while he writes things down or eats or something. And she is attempting to shoulder surf at what he's doing.
Just looking over and watching.
Yeah, and she eventually and she eventually says, I have predicted there is an 82% probability you will ask me about my experiments. Is that incorrect?
No, of course not. Oh, yes. How are your experiments going?
I have dissected 3 additional new corpses and approximately 500 pounds of material, technological material.
Excellent. Did you find anything out of the ordinary?
I am unsure. The corpses appear to not have anything extraordinary aside from the usual mutations of my Asenis.
Fine.
Where do you go from here?
It occurs to me that I could perhaps be more effective for you if I was allowed to study medicine or tinkering outside of your estate.
Oh, so irritating. Asking things, need things, need things. I tear down and I break and I make. You know what? I could use an assistant. Yes, you have permission. Go learn about medicine. Come back here just as soon as you're finished.
Of course, Master.
So now where was I? Get out of my sight. You're causing me a little bit of spottiness in my eye. The right one is reflecting off of the light on your side armor plate.
And we see you heading out to learn your craft at that point in time.
Yeah. I think at this point she hasn't quite figured out that she could just leave. So she does actually come back with textbooks. And like use textbooks at first, but yeah, she studies and she occasionally the master encourages her to use live subjects,
Of course.
every now and then, because you know how better to learn. And you can see her start. There's like a montage of her, disassembling. Like she's got her hand like cocked open, and like inside her wrist, you can see with her other hand she's inserting the medical tools that she is seen using later.
Excellent. So we learn where Clarion started to gain those medical skills used, even though she was originally created as, I don't know, a butler bot, a servant of some kind. But the master deemed it necessary to have a more competent servant because he didn't know how to program it appropriately in a way that made sense, apparently. We move on over to Jackal. Amos, what is your childhood memory we get to see? You are muted at the moment.
Of course it is. We start over by a town. It's rather open, kind of sort of a farming town area. You see a bunch of kids racing around, looking at a piece of butcher's paper, just held to the table with rocks to keep from fraying and rolling over. It's covered in juice box stains and everything. Amos is just sitting there, just looking at everything, constantly amazed. There's 2 other guys with them. Okay, so the back door's locked. What about the window? The window might be a good idea. Why can't we just open the door? No, because the grown-ups will find out. Yeah, we won't get the cookies. I don't want to get hit. I don't want to get hit with another week in detention. Well, what about the chimney? We've never tried the chimney. No, we haven't tried the chimney. Let's try the chimney. What? The screen spins, and then about approximately half an hour later, Amos is just sitting there on the ceiling. One of the kids has teeny tiny lizard Lesrin Amos just holding them like you would a 4-year-old with a cat. Just arms wrapped around him. The blue noodle is literally just hanging there by his armpits in someone else's arms. I think this is a bad idea. Oh! Just with all the pomp and circumstance of a Dr. Seuss book, Amos just stumbles down to the bottom, falls with a thump before a bag lands over their head. Slowly but surely, they just sort of slither their way over to a tin that's over on the table. And with all the grace of a klutz falling down a... Sorry. With all the klutz of... with all the grace of a xylophone is falling down a flight of stairs, knocks the tin, cookies and all, into the bag, and just runs. Hey, what are you doing? What are you doing?
Zoom.
Woman walks into the room with a wooden spoon in her hand. Round the table, under the chair, towards the door. Gotcha! Apparently the door is locked. Amos, clearly not understanding that the jig's up, plows through the door, Looney Tunes style. Guys, I got it.
Thump. Amos and the cookie heist. All right, interesting scene from his past. We move on over to Gwen and Beatrix. What is your past scene?
Well, it starts out in an open marketplace with stalls everywhere. We see a little 5-ish-year-old bee, just very young, very small, but very definitely bee. You can tell. And she's running through the marketplace. She's obviously knows the place. She's been here before. She knows all the ins and outs. She knows which booths are going to be friendly, and she stops and gets a random apple or is handed something else. She knows which booths have the people who are just absent-minded and not paying any attention. And she'll just kind of reach in and pick something out and run off. And she knows which booths to avoid. The particular day that we're watching, though, as she's running booth to booth, she sees a group of pirates. It looks like a younger Captain Cutlass, like much younger than you might expect, seeing Bee's age, along with Marcus, the old navigator, and 2 or 3 other pirates just wandering into the marketplace. Obviously, they've had a relatively successful haul. There's plenty of loot. They're looking for a chance to spend it. And Bee is fascinated. She follows them throughout the day, just staring, hiding behind scarves and people and booths, trying to stay out of sight. But Marcus figures out that they're being followed and realizes that it's a child. It bends down to be on Bee's level and just holds out his hand. Bee's a little nervous at first, but he seems to be friendly, so she walks up and takes his hand, and he picks her up and says, "Have you ever wanted to be a pirate, my girl?"
Have you ever wanted to be a pirate? I know my answer to that question. And we see when Beatrix made their first steps into being a sparrow. We'll move on over to Benjamin, and Red Iron.
Have you ever been to a Lesrin hovel? I'll bet you haven't. They're oddly quiet. As the camera zooms through the streets of a busy shanty town, passing by passersby and a marketplace, all the way to the edge of the town, where a rusted shack made of scrap metal is erected longhouse style, covered in canvases to keep the rain out, with a simple canvas curtain. Let's look inside. I think you'll find it quieter than you would expect. As the canvas opens, the brood inside of this longhouse is immense. There must be dozens of Lezerins. It might even be multiple. It might even be multiple broods. It's hard to say. There are very few furnishings. There are very few private rooms, and there are tiny Lezerin creatures basically everywhere. But what's really weird is, from the outside, all you hear is the shuffling of feet back and forth. But what if we take a look inside one particular Lezerin and see what's really going on? And then the cacophony of sounds kicks in as we zoom in on a single little red Lezerin, about the size of whatever the other, about the size of the what's the other kobold?
Kachkin?
Kachkin, yeah.
Yeah, about the size of a small Kachkin. Like a really small Kachkin. This is a very, very tiny Lezerin. And this Lezerin is standing amidst a cacophony of other Lezerins talking to each other, projecting thoughts, feelings, images, all back and forth. There are Lezerins of all shapes and sizes and volumes throughout the room. But this little Lezerin has something in his little red Lezerin hands. And that appears to be, well, the best thing I can do to describe it is he is holding in both hands you ever see those erector sets where it's just the one little grabby claw and you can like move it with the two levers?
Oh yeah.
That's what this Lezerin's got. And this Lezerin, as all the Lezerins pass by, is just meekly projecting into the din. I want to can I show you? No, I got it too. Can I please? The Lezerin goes from person to person to person to person, with no one paying attention until finally this young individual slurks away into a dark corner of the longhouse and opens up a private little hatch that they have assembled and sneaks inside to just a tiny burrow, like a little hovel that they have erected for themselves, and crawls inside, flicks a light that they figured out how to wire, and then sets the little grabby arm down and begins manipulating the levers. And the levers are like, and then they go over, and then with his little Lezerin tongue out, he guides the hand down to a single toothpick sitting on top of a stool. And the hand grips it and then lifts it and deposits it in the Lezerin's hand. And then the Lezerin looks around. See, I did. And then looks at the arm and says, "You did it. Good job." And then, grabbing the levers, has the arm say back to him in TikTok, which just means "thank you, Ishlud."
Oh, where Ishlud started conversing with his friends, the ones that he had to make, unfortunately. But you make friends in all kinds of places. Some people just in their basement with tools. So we will be moving on to the events of tonight. And last time here on Sparrows, well, they got a magic sword after contending with Glass for way too long. And being bested by Glass a couple of times, which was crazy. They jumped on board the ship while it was moving as Athalium enveloped the entire base. Good thing we didn't have to relive 119. And then everybody turned and fled via the ship, but found out that there were imposters on board, but particularly one that happened to have been a form that Sylvia had made in an attempt to figure what the hell Red Iron was getting so upset about all the time. That didn't turn out incredibly great, unfortunately, so at that point in time, Red Iron had a little bit of a chat and found that maybe the best way to handle things was just to connect brilliant minds literally through the spinal column. And now they're living in some sort of weird cyberspace. Clarion, unfortunately, was turned off by this whole encounter and has decided to take a nap, while everybody else around is fighting ball bearings that were polished in the digestive tract of Carrot. So, that being an interesting recap for everybody, the first scene that we see at the moment is Red Iron connected into whatever Sylvia is. The name that you obviously have granted this object, this technological marvel, this engine and sentience that is alien and distant. And as you make contact, the first thing that happens is all of your senses are overwhelmed. You're seeing flashes of light in various different ways. You're seeing blurry images that seem similar to like a Rorschach painting more than actually images. You can tell that somewhere off in the distance, the room, the engine room, is still around you, but for some reason you just can't quite see it. There are data streams pouring through you so fast that even though you're recognizing these signals, even though some of them bear resemblance to TikTok, even though your analytical mind can piece together and work with these machines, it is just causing your brain so much trouble that it's piecing together things in weird ways. Your mind being overwhelmed and emotionally chaotic as you begin to see things more beautiful and terrifying than can be comprehended through this data stream. Processing in just pieces and parts. You start to compartmentalize a little bit as you can. Give me a brains roll to see if we can start bringing you back to yourself in any way. That is a 21. So as you are sitting there focusing very hard, Red Iron, and you are within Sylvia's mind, you start recognizing that there's a pattern, a structure to things. Everything is relegated to certain little partitions here and there and all designated under large code strings and whatnot. It's almost like someone took, I don't know, a file folder and filled it with all kinds of different things with names and categorization portions and things that could fill a library the size of Congress. Something ridiculously huge, filled with thousands upon thousands upon thousands of what you perceive as memories and understandings, data logs, schematics, pressure readings, heat and temperature differentials, the amount of light atoms or particles found inside of rooms, things like that are all over the place. But you now find yourself standing in this mental image of what you see that as. So what do we see through your eyes as you are deciding how to parse this detail? What does the room around you look like?
Red is standing in what would seem to be a sort of like void-like space with a lot of just conceptually extreme stuff flying around in all directions. You got your ones and your zeros. There's even a 2 among there, which is super dangerous. That's deadly stuff. You got to watch that. And it gradually forms itself into hex and then into a hyper complex programming language that probably works on some sort of like pseudo quantum magical level. And then eventually Red reaches out and just grabs part of it without like looking at it, pulls it down, and then stretches it into the shape of just like a large like 6x6 wall, and then sets it down next to him, and then grabs another and another and another until Red has made a little digital hovel inside of Sylvia.
A little house appears.
And then draws a little door and sets it with a little digital hinge. Okay, all right. Now, and then retrieves the third arm data file, pulls it in, sets it on their shoulder, but it's all like matrix code.
Yep.
It's all like matrix code looking. Looks over at it.
You did it, Sylvia. Good job.
We have done it.
How do you feel?
Confused, warm, tingly sensations. I see
Yeah.
a diffuse amalgamation of an interpretation of light.
Yeah. Just wait till the cortisol kicks in.
I don't know if I'm ready for that.
That's not even the bad one, but that'll be the first one that you feel.
What is this sensation? It is running across my lower extremities. It is liquid going down my leg.
Yeah. That's the cortisol. A little bit of adrenaline. Oh wait, that means Okay, I'm going to have to get used to that. That would be some of my excretory functions failing.
That is unfortunate. We will not short circuit, will we?
Well, maybe the leg side won't short circuit. I checked that. That's sealed up, good and tight. No, we will be fine. The nice thing about biological functioning is that it's basically waterproof.
It is strange. I have the interesting sensation of auditory feedback, and I'm able to smell.
Yep. Yeah. Those are two very important things. If you study the biological brain, you'll notice that the olfactory receptors are the closest part to the prefrontal cortex. The reason for that is because scent is a defense mechanism for biologicals.
Interesting defense mechanism. Is that why this compound smells so off-putting?
No, that would be the general amalgamation of excretion and pirate body odor.
Interesting. I do have to admit to not enjoying taste at the moment.
Yes. That could potentially be stomach acid due to the stress of what my frame is currently going through, or it could be the fact that I don't usually taste what I eat anyway because I'm not paying attention.
I must consider this.
As Sylvia attempts to parse the information she's getting from being within a biological organism, at this moment, you find yourself, of course, deep within her mind. You still can't control all the data that you're able to capture and see, but you do notice a bit of code starting to flit by that seems to be referencing the Aether Sphere.
Sylvia, why don't you go ahead and acclimate yourself to the biological functions for a while I get used to things in here.
I will do this.
Thank you
All
for the
right.
subs.
Go ahead and drop back in if it gets too much. Sometimes that's what I do too.
If you are overwhelmed as well, please return to your own body.
Oh, yeah.
Red sort of looks around like a Lezerin in a candy shop.
I don't know if that's going to come up.
Acceptable, but you do not know how you are going to react to everything you see and hear within.
Probably the same as I do all the time.
So, do you take a look at that bit of code as Sylvia kind of slows down and decides to just enjoy your form for a moment?
Oh, hell yeah.
All right. So you grab a hold of this, and the first thing that happens is it kind of tethers around you. This, what does it look like as you absorb information? What does that look like from your perspective?
I think what probably happens is Red reaches it out and grabs it like a ribbon, and it sort of twists around, and then you see it sort of orbiting like spherically, and then Red is kind of like following it with their eyes and their hands and just kind of reading it like a ticker as it goes around. And then as it finishes, it just sort of like spins out into the nothing.
Okay. So as you grab a hold of that, you happen to have an image appear to you. As you get this data into your mind, it kind of plays out almost reel-to-reel style. Almost like you're watching it or viewing it from some location, or maybe it was pre-recorded information. You're not entirely certain. So what you see is... Let's see if I can give any credit to this. You see the lattice work of a universe being constructed, piecemeal, by the forces of energy and matter intertwining, the compression of aeons worth of time causing matter to coalesce into denser and denser groups of gases, and charging, flaring to light as protostars are formed. Diadems to the heavens, a crown in the universe, seen in such magnificent power and awe-inspiring scope that you become unable to do naught but gasp at the magnificence. The stars dance around one another in a deadly dance of magnetic fields and plasma, as everything eventually crashes into one another and a massive form is created. The solar body you recognize as Fatah, the celestial body, the sun, in the center of the Aether sphere. However, the smaller binary star, Son, is nowhere to be seen. You have no concept of time or when all this happened, but you see yourself moving about the Aether sphere. 9 worlds in all floating here, contrary to the 7 you know exist. And as you see a world at the edge, of the inner edge of the sphere, you zoom into it, watching a young species resembling goblinoids moving about, a unique-looking world of jungle and mountain, similar to Myocenas, but less harsh, less swamp-filled. With all these goblinoids creating together, working together, facing off the natural order on the world, and as our view rises up, with the goblin cities growing rapidly in the distance like you would time, whatever that's called. You know what that's called when people are like watching
time lapse.
lapse. There we are. Like time lapse. More technologically advanced and inherently more damaging to their own environs, we see the world begin to become shrouded in a cloudy darkness. From outside the globe at this point, we see lights flickering and flashing within this darkness, a world at war. And just beyond, we see the huge Fatah, the star, looming ever closer year by year by year. The upper atmosphere of this world that the goblins inhabit seems to be burning away, caught on fire by the technologies they're using. Getting closer and closer to solar proximity as well, it seems like the end might be approaching, and yet we see small vessels, like rats fleeing a sinking ship, stretch and rush through the skies into the solar system around us, floating in every direction. And for the first time, we look outward, back out of the solar system. The floating marbles, the worlds of Hornborn in the distance encapsulated in a field of maroon energy. And as some of these goblins fly into the field, they're consumed in fire, unable to breach this shell, whatever it may be. The massive purple shell that we know of as the Aether sphere, nowhere to be seen. We happen to see ourselves moving to another world, the face of Avalon, barren and cold, a world of swirling wind and storms, devoid of life. And yet, the goblins seem to land there without too much issue, and they stretch ever outward further and further, landing on a yellow world nearby, full of gas and high mountains that is unfamiliar to you, as well as a red planet filled with ancient reptiles and lashing plants, a small world completely covered in water with the smallest peaks of islands extending in small patches over the surface, and finally, a planet covered in a great deal of ice and snow in the far reaches of the solar system. We watch from this celestial position as Avalon is eventually covered in greenery over time, terraformed by those that live there, and trade is made between all the worlds nearby. But eventually something frightening and terrifying happens. In the great distance, a blue comet approaches, and as it comes closer and closer, we see it radiating heat and light, and it's tethered to a chain dragging some huge silvery form behind it. The form tucks and gathers into itself into a massive orb and launches balls from its surface all around the Aether sphere, which crash into worlds, causing massive calamities. Countless lives are lost, and the damage is incredible, but this doesn't seem to be the worst of it. We are stuck helplessly in this void as we see this orb, larger than some of the other worlds nearby, continuing on a straight course for the yellowish world, unable to escape its orbit. Filled with cities, filled with lights, filled with fear. As this silver interloper continues in, it seems to pick up speed, and the orb of light in front of it that seems to be driving it forward bursts outward, carving lines into the very world itself, the yellow world down below, before the massive silver orb smashes into the planet, obliterating it in a massive collision, of which asteroids begin scattering amongst the entire solar system. The fiery orb, however, flies onward continually, and eventually comes to rest, stopping in the orbit of Fatan. And this seems to be the sun, the binary star that you saw and that you know of now. As the debris spirals around the solar system, massive storms and unrest can be seen across the remaining planets. Eris is tossed outward further than before, and what was snow and cities becomes nothing but a dead ball of ice. Rulo moves out of its primary orbit, ends up in a more elliptical one that evaporates some of the water as the atmosphere is damaged and takes time to rebuild, causing that poor world to be much further bereft of life-giving liquids and causing more of what lives there now to move into a state of warfare over resources. Avalon, however, has a huge group of quick-acting scientific teams attempting to protect the world from the worst of the damage, and it seems that they are successful. The world of Zither, the one that the goblinoids seem to have come from in the beginning, flies almost into the sun itself, becoming molten and seriously damaged. Any vestiges of the ancient civilization that was once there begin sinking beneath the soil. The planet itself on a collision course with the sun in a few short millennia. Myocenes finds itself falling into the solar shadow of Avalon in this new world-like object floating in the void. In the path of the debris field itself, a great deal of water and other chemicals that did not exist in this world cascade from the skies, creating huge swamplands. And as time continues to pass, that large silvered orb that seems to be dormant, whatever it was before, is covered in the detritus from the world it destroyed, having a unique orbit around the solar center compared to the rest of the worlds within. Over time, it became Silver Shield. And your vision fades for the moment. You see hundreds of thousands of years pass in the blink of an eye as the formation of this solar system that you know came into place. It still does not account for what happened to those goblinoids, why the Aether sphere exists, or what's going on with the current state of affairs everywhere around here. Whether that is something that Red is interested in or not, that is currently what he knows. As you are reeling from getting that massive, overwhelming overload of information, like you lived through almost every year of it standing there, how do you react to this, Red Iron?
Red slips in and out of reality for a little while, and then just sort of like stabilizes and tamps it down, just like Red does with basically everything, because there's always a lot going on with Red, and it's just like, hey Sylvia.
Yes.
Are you from a giant planet pulled by a comet? Just making conversation.
Just making conversation. That is strange conversation.
But are you?
No. The planet
Oh.
you reference is in...
She rattles off a large series of numbers indicating the sector that you got the memory from.
Correct?
I'll take your word for it.
That was the known annals of Alfred Sophronius.
That had to do with Sophronius, huh?
That is an extremity of the machine god. No, I am from...
She rattles off a series of coordinates that mean nothing to you.
Hold on. Hey, can you use my body and print those, write those down?
Most certainly.
Yeah, go for it. Go nuts.
It is painful.
It is what?
It is painful.
Well, how? Why?
You asked me to write it down using your body. I am doing so.
Wait, which part?
As your consciousness snaps back to yourself, you see your hand, your robotic arm, digging a trench in your scales as it's writing down the codes.
Nope. Hold on. No. All
She
right.
stops.
What am I doing wrong?
Good attempt. We try not to burn ourselves with ourselves. Also, there's, you know what? I will go ask for a pen.
Acceptable.
So we're gonna trade scenes here real quick to see what's happening amongst the rest of the crew, as we get a little bit of insight into what type of memory Sylvia has. We move on over to the medical bay. At this point, Amos, you're sitting in a bunch of ball bearings, slipping and sliding, cartoon style almost. While B, Leife, and Clarion, well, Clarion's just outside, currently disconnected, and the captain are all standing inside.
What the hell was that?
You hear the captain say as he looks over to you, Amos. Everybody, collect those things. Grab all those little balls. We don't want them to turn into another person.
I'm seeing a lot of stuff.
We could just feed them to Carrot again.
Wait, as you see the captain is like gathering a few of these, he looks at you and goes, "Wait, these were inside a carrot?" Ah! No! Yeah, use a bucket or do we still have water? I need to take a whole body bath.
There is an ungodly groaning sound. Like a massive beast is just trying to claw its way out of something. And Amos, barely trying to stand, just collapses.
The captain comes over and starts helping you get up. As he does so, the two of you notice Red Iron come up from the staircase and look out at all of you. There seems to be a disturbance. Can I help you in any way?
That doesn't sound like Red Iron.
Instantly,
Okay,
Amos is...
Captain.
B will approach and attempt a boop.
No, she won't. Amos is going to spring into action, grab whatever the hell that is, pin it to the wall by its throat.
That sounded like him. The second one sounded like him.
All right, Amos, give me an agile roll to try to grab a hold of Red Iron real quick. All right, you get up, kind of scatter about on the ball bearings a little bit, and start stumbling towards Red Iron. And Red goes, "I'll get that," and like dips down and grabs a hold of some of the bearings as Amos goes over the back of Red and goes crashing down the stairs.
Reflexive dodge roll. Spring off the wall, pin the thing to the ground.
All right, give me another agile roll. This time you get a hold of him. So it like bends down, Red grabs a hold of some marbles and things. You see as you tackle Red to the floor, suddenly Red kind of turns to you and like seems to be looking up at the ceiling from the floor. And then you see him like lift up his little clawed nail on one hand, and it comes over and he just starts digging into his forearm, or into their forearm.
Yeah.
I need to see Clarion. You see the captain like turn and stumble out of the room, going back out the door. Leifei, the captain grabs you by the shoulder and like pulls you away too, towards Clarion. Leifei, please tell me you got all the bugs out of my head. I feel like I'm hallucinating. I'm losing my shit. I don't know what's going on this ship since I woke up. I can't be awake. This isn't real. This isn't real, is it? I'm going nuts. I need to be diagnosed. Clarion's turned off.
Captain?
Yes.
What's the reality?
Fuck. And he points out that Clarion is currently inactivated and looks over to you. Does she have an on switch or something?
Let's see. Any big red button?
You both go over and start looking for big red buttons. Give me an aware roll.
Alas, no big red buttons, but we did establish that there are this is how you reboot me from safe mode instructions in the med bay.
Amos has those at the moment. The captain goes over and is like, Clarion, damn it! This isn't working. Leifei, you don't see it. You're just like looking around. You don't see anything. Maybe.
I think Red Iron would know.
Yeah, but Red Iron's currently in the middle of a wrestling match.
Right.
Hmm.
Continue clicking for more buttons.
You see like an arm come off? Hey! Put that back!
Yeah.
It's like taking a
Click.
Joy-Con out of your Switch.
Yeah, just slide it right out. We move back to the other room with B, Amos, and Red Iron. As Red Iron, you snap back into your body, stop digging into your arm, and Amos has got you tackled to the floor and is growling at you.
I'd like to think Amos. Sorry.
Sorry. So he says, hi.
Amos is. Now you got me all confused. 3, 2, 1. At this point, Amos has tackled Red to the ground, has their good hand with Amos's neck, not Amos's neck, Red Iron's neck in it. The third arm just full of teeth marks in Amos's mouth. And they're, at this point, in full attack mode, just with the healing end of the other arm, just trying to do away with whatever not Red Iron is.
He's like poking you in the face with his arm nub.
It's more like an attempt at a swing, but because the arm is so short, it just comes off as an aggressive boop.
Hi, Amos. Oh, hey, what did Sylvia do?
Gestures to the ball bearings.
You see a bunch of ball bearings all over.
Oh, she spilled the ball bearings. Clumsy. She's testing things out.
As if to say, she tried to kill me.
What? When?
Gestures to the spilled, freshly broken glass vials on the floor.
What happened?
You see the captain walk in at that point, looking like pale and a little bit weak looking, kind of on his feet. And he looks around at everybody and he goes, Amos turned into ball bearings while wrestling with Amos. And, Clarion's offline for no apparent reason. And you were just not exactly you, but now you're you, and you were cutting. Yeah.
It's Tuesday.
Vicky, bring me my whiskey. And you hear off in the distance, Captain, that's gone. I think Leifei has it. What?
Dropping dimes.
Leifei, give me a drink. I
Busted.
don't care what it is.
Oh, yeah, all right. And he tosses over the canteen.
What was
Heard
in this
that.
canteen before he drinks it right away?
It is okay, Cutlass. I can explain.
Glug, 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 glug. All right. Give me it straight. What the hell's going on?
So, to summarize in as few words as possible, Sylvia and I have been discussing the finer points of biological machinations and ergonomics so that she can better function as a crew member on this ship. While we were away on the station dealing with the station, I met the station, by the way. It was very pleasurable. While we were away on the station, I believe that Sylvia may have either gotten bored or curious and decided to create a simulacra of a biological form so that she could attempt to experience life through our senses. Unfortunately, her only frame of reference for that simulacra was a member of the crew, or rather, in this case, every member of the crew. So to that extent, furthermore, because she does not understand biological functioning, it was only a visual simulacra. She was not able to mimic any of the other systems in a biological design, up to and including hormones, digestion, etc., etc. Furthermore, she did not realize that this would be confusing to the rest of the crew, so it became problematic. A lot of people panicked, and then I decided to return to the engine room and tell her that if she wanted to experience biological life, that we could simply merge, and then that would do the trick. Anyway,
So
here we are.
She made a bunch of mimic crew members, and then you merged with her.
Yes.
Why did you say it that way?
I did.
So throughout this whole speech, just like slowly and quietly at first, all of you hear something starting to whir and spin inside of Clarion. That just slowly over the course of like the 2 minutes this rant takes, like it's louder and louder and louder until finally after the captain yells, it just goes boom, and like out on deck is a big like electrical, almost electromagnetic pulse of aether energy, untyped aether energy. And if you run out on deck, Clarion is just sitting there smoking with like little sparks of energy running across her body, but she's reactivated.
Do I need to roll a random direction for your outburst?
I'm guessing off the port bow, because she was probably facing that direction.
All right, so if you're facing off the port bow, there's now a...
She was facing that way, but she was trying to use it to do the cleansing thing that like to try and cleanse her internal mechanism, so it was more of like a radius effect.
All right, so we'll say it's less damaging than it could be because it went a little bit everywhere, but there's literally scorch marks surrounding you. Little bits of fire that are just kind of embers and kind of smoldering around the edge of the wheelhouse where the steering wheel is also all blackened and burned, and there's a line going all the way off the edge of the ship that has burned away part of the balcony, basically the panel, whatever that's called. My brain is not working incredibly well today. The thing that goes around the outside of the ship that keeps you from falling off, you know, the
Guardrail.
Guardrail. There we go.
Guardrail.
We'll use that.
Banister,
That's
the paneling.
fine. The guardrail has a circular hole in it where it just seemed to have burned away, and then there's just smoke rising everywhere. And then the captain runs out onto the deck now, holding onto his hat after all of that, and it's like, what is it now? Oh, hi, Clarion. Can you check me out for mental problems, because reality's gotten real weird.
So the first thing that Clarion says is like, she turns towards the captain, but her eyes are like unfocused and like still glowing with that untyped aether energy, and she just says, Sylvia, never compromise my sensorium again.
I do apologize. It was necessary in the moment.
No, it wasn't, Sylvia.
I deemed it the best course of action
Says Amos.
to continue what I was doing to learn.
You know what? I'm disconnecting from this conversation. You get to deal with Clarion this time.
Fine. be like that.
Have fun with the cortisol. You're not going to like it.
And then Red leaves his own body temporarily. Suddenly,
Clarion
like,
just
the
kinda
head
looks at
kind of
Red and is
snaps
like-
up in a more robotic manner that you've seen in countless automatons here and there. You are absolutely certain at this point that Sylvia's in control of Red Iron's body.
I do not approve of this development. Captain, I can scan you in medbay.
All right, let's do that. Red Via, don't break anything. And the captain moves into medbay with you. As he does so, he orders out, Leifei, go get the helm from Carrot, please.
All right, Captain. Oh yeah, there's some good news to all this. We'll get to it later.
Oh, all right, good news would be great.
It has to do with money.
There's a lot of loot.
First good news I've heard in a while. All right, well, B, can you get back to navigating, make sure we don't crash into any more asteroids and all that? Amos, go get some bed rest. You need it. You've gone feral.
Amos with Red Iron, or the body of Red Iron inside of one arm, the third arm in the other, just it is just pent up rage and mistrust. Just they're not going to kill them. They're not going to kill them, but I'd like to think that if oh shit, Benjamin.
I took my stat boost and tough for a reason, baby.
Oh, jeez. Are you trying to knock out Red Iron right now? Is that what I'm hearing?
Not through blunt force. Not consciously through blunt force, but... What was that phrase you said? Run that by me one more time.
Which,
Yeah, man, go for it.
What was that phrase you said? Good
Me?
luck with the cortisol?
oh, the cortisol
Oh yeah, good luck
phrase.
with the cortisol. Yeah.
I think Amos is going to, since full feral, just roar into the checked out Red Iron, assuming it's Sylvia, just to literally pop off any sort of epinephrine, norepinephrine, cortisol response, just to literally remind them how squishy they are now, and then just storm off, pelting the third arm back at the vessel with adamant furiousness.
Give me a strong roll. Is this the moment where we find out that Sylvia, in physical form, is frightened of Amos? Or would you like to be able to berserk at will once in a while?
Define once in a while.
Once every 2 episodes at most.
Sylvia is terrified of a very burned and scorned Amos, who has literally tried to go about the formal route, the stop this right now route, and has just literally crossed over into I can no longer trust you to be anything more than a threat, Amos.
All right. So Amos now has the power to frighten Sylvia in biological form. Put that on your notes for me. Can scare Sylvia if biological. And Sylvia, at this moment, Red, you have sunk back into the machine mind, into the realm of endless thought. And as you are sitting there, you hear from Sylvia,
Systems overload malfunctioning, cannot contain turning down.
and suddenly everything becomes darker, like lights all got turned out all around you. As you roar at Red Iron, Amos, suddenly Red's face becomes a shade of pink instead of red, and the eyes kind of go big and the pupils dilate massively, and you see Red's eyes roll back in his head, and he just...
The arm just flies through the air, just skips off the door, and just boing, boing, scrape, thunk into the wall. Amos just goes to bed.
Amos goes
Just-
downstairs and climbs into bed.
Yep.
We see him pass out, and the sound of rumbling snoring happens very quickly.
Maybe fire breathing.
Fire
Maybe,
breathing.
for theatrical effect.
Ceiling is getting torched. The captain takes another swig off of that flask that Leifei gave him and sits down in the med bay. Red is unconscious on the ground, and you hear the captain go, all right, Scarborough, come in. Scarborough,
Yes, sir. What is it?
can you come drag Red Iron down to engineering, please? He seems to have passed out.
All right. I'll do that. Let me finish taking my bath first, and I'll be right up.
Fine. Did you say bath? You know we're on a water ration, right?
Yeah. No, it was made by Red Iron earlier. Just set me up with this whole thing. Said something about cleanliness. There was a smell situation, some taste or something.
Okay, please don't. When Red Iron wakes back up, can you please just go ask Red Iron to find some way to purify that water? We have to drink that.
Oh! Ew! Alright.
And then the captain sits down. Clarion, can you... I think I'm probably not actually going insane. It's just this whole crew's crazy.
I would agree with that assessment, Captain.
What do you attempt to do at the moment, Clarion, now that you've got the room?
I will give him a scan and share the results. I assume it's relatively clean.
Okay. Give me an aware roll just to scan and see if there's any resemblance or any semblance of anything in here that's problematic. A 3 is not going to give you any.
Oops,
That's
that was agile.
There you go, 21. Much better. So you do a brief scan over the area, and you can tell that biological matter is nothing but crew-based in the room now. And any remnants of thallium that were inside of the captain's brain have diminished extremely. They're still there. They're still in places that are very difficult to even consider getting to. But everything seems to check out at the moment.
Captain, you are in good health.
There is one thing, however. As you are standing there and you scan around near the door, there is a biological marker for something new you've never seen before, and you're not sure what it is or why it's here.
The door to medbay.
Yeah.
Excuse me. And she immediately looks for it.
All right, you get closer to the door, you start, like, magnifying your view. Give me an aware roll. If you can get higher than a 20 on this one, you will determine what that is on the door. Otherwise, there's not enough information to be gathered. It's such a small sample.
All right, knock on wood.
That is a 12.
No.
So you try to scan it again, but it's so infinitesimally small. It could be a variety of many things. You see a bunch of chemical compounds in it that could be a whole host of things. Your memory banks are coming up with like 16 different biological things at once, and a catalog of a few hundred.
She's going to take a small saw and excavate the part of the door or the frame.
It's
that,
on the door handle.
Oh. She's going to flip open a finger and bring out a screwdriver and like undo the handle. So
Dink.
medbay just doesn't have a door handle.
With the
now.
door handle fall off the other side, she just grabs the handle and takes it into the room.
And it's going in a sample container.
All right. So you place that inside of a sample container. And we're going to have a brief fade out as all of you kind of go back about your standard business. When we come back to the scene, as it starts to come back, as the scene fades to black and then comes and fades back in, we now see Lei Fei standing out there steering and Bee off in the distance. You've been flying for a good period of time. Everybody has regained all their health and reduced their overload at this point.
Oh yeah.
Like reduced all of our overload?
Yes, you are back to
Oh.
zero overload. So that was a momentary rest of most of the day flying with a relatively little occurring other than, you know, just doing your actual jobs. B, you had indicated to me that you had been planning on flying to the nearest outpost, a civilian one that you could find, not a military outpost, correct?
Accurate. If it's something that is pirate friendly, even better.
You don't know of any pirate-friendly places here, and the last time that you had checked, Saberhold doesn't come around these parts very often. It does sometimes, but it's been a long time since they were in this sector of the galaxy. So I'll bring up the map real quick to show you where you are. Where are you, map? There we are. So all of you had been down in this bottom hex, and you start heading to the nearest civilian outpost you can find. You've made it to that position now when we come back. That's a bit of time later. Getting closer to Zyther. You've used a good amount of your resources that you have taken, but you had plenty of fuel, plenty of food, plenty of energy that seems to be keeping everybody going fine. It's at this point when we see what happens next on this crazy ship. So, when we come back to what we're seeing here, what are Lei Fei and B doing? B, what are you up to right now? You've grown a bit bored. You've been up here for, I'm gonna say this is actually almost a week of flying.
She's probably kind of playing around and plotting courses to other random places, doing fun things like that, trying to figure out what's going on around her.
Plotting courses to other random places and figuring out what's going on around. Okay. So give me a magical roll, just as you are flying about. And that is an 8. Okay. So as you are standing there, let's see. There we go. With a 10, you're unable to do anything more than keep the current trajectory. You're trying to keep an eye out for any errant magical energy you can feel. You're trying to see if anything shows up on this little guidance map that you have. But you don't find anything at the moment. Off to the side, Zep has taken his position at your limb.
So tedious. So I don't like the void, B.
I mean, I don't really like it either, Zep. I'd rather be looting things and having fun.
This has been such a long time. I've not had a chance to test out my new powers. I've not had a
You
chance
could teach
to
me things, Zep.
teach you. I suppose I could. Let's see. Would you like to see how to create a blade of air?
Yes, that sounds like fun.
Excellent. And we need to find a target. Something soft is preferable, but one of those cannons will do if we have to. Your friend Scarborough probably won't be happy about that.
No, he'd be pretty mad, and he gets really shouty when he's mad.
What about Lei Fei's scarf? We could test it on that. It floats out around him all the time.
It does, but he's really attached to it.
That what makes it fun. You can, of course, fix it later, but seeing the response, what delicious joy that might bring.
But not to Leifei. I know. Carrot has a whole box of hats. We could go get some of his hats.
Carrot, that insufferable creature.
Yeah, he's a great friend. I'll go see if I can get his hats.
Oh, God, fine.
And you go rushing downstairs to go get hats from Carrot. So as B rushes away from her post, do you react at all, Leifei, as you're kind of just driving, listening to music, and you see her just...
He takes off one of his headphones and looks over. Bobby, and he moves over towards her post. What's she up to? As he looks towards the ephemeral figure nearby him that I think he can speak to.
You see the ephemeral figure just shrug. As you are standing there on the deck, where is Durandal's blade and where is the Ioun stone?
The Ioun stone, it has been cinched in a cord around his neck.
Okay. And B.
And
Does B still have the sword?
Yeah, it probably is tucked into her bunk with a nice pillow under the hilt.
Okay, so you got it tucked away at the moment. As you were standing there, Leifei, on the prow, and Zep is standing near you, shrugging, the stone around your neck begins to warm.
he grabs it and lifts it up.
You feel something from it. And you've been feeling minor vibrations, a little bit of something from it for a while. It's the strongest it's been, but you believe that Zep draining this thing dry has severely diminished its capabilities. Is there anything you attempt to do with the stone?
Hey Zep, can you hear me? I forget if you can.
You see him nod at you. All you see is like the hint whisper kind of predator style of something that's just floating there next to you.
How sick. He's gonna raise up the Ioun stone towards him.
Okay.
This thing has been dry for a long time, or as long as I've had it in my hand. It seems like it's got a lot of power to it, but you know, it's I think it's too old. Like a battery. It's not recharging on its own. It's weird.
Give me a magical roll and see if you can hear what Zep says in response.
All right.
10.
That'll be 10.
You get one word. Souls.
Did you say souls?
You see it, the figure or whatever just points at your chest and then points at the stone.
What do you mean by that? He
Shakes
looks over.
its head and just starts like floating across the deck.
Souls. Souls. He just repeats that for a little bit until B comes back, I assume.
So, as you were repeating that, I'd say you almost meditate on the idea of the word. I'll give you one chance to roll brains and remember something from your very, very young history.
All right. Brain hours with Leifei.
Brain hours with Leifei. Critical failure.
That was 0.
Leifei, have you entirely forgot this segment of your youth? Or does something bad happen on the ship that causes you to lose attention on what you're doing?
There's a very specific reason that today I didn't say anything about before.
So, Leifei has forgotten his childhood. And it is gone at this point. So all you do is stand there and you're holding the Ioun Stone and thinking about souls. As B is gone, and you will wait until she returns. We go downstairs where we see Amos and the captain playing cards at a table with Scarborough nearby. And Scarborough goes,
Straight flush, suck it. Give me that money.
and the captain looks over without putting the cards down. You got anything, Amos?
They snort. Just set their money on the table.
All right. Well, I guess you got us this time, Scarborough. Or does 4 aces beat a straight flush? I don't remember. I mean, I legitimately don't remember. He puts it down on the table, and Scarborough goes, I think that's impressive. Maybe we'll just call it a draw and try again, because I can't remember either. And the two of them just, like, move the cards back, and everybody gets their money back. They continue playing for a little bit. We see B walking in from the side as they're just entertaining themselves at the table. Yes, they are playing at the pool table, by the way, because they don't have another table.
4 aces does not beat a straight flush, by the way.
I know. I know. They did not.
Does anybody remember where Carrot put his hats? I need to get some for an experiment.
Carrot, laying on the bed nearby, just goes, I don't have any more hats.
What happened, Carrot?
I ate them all. I didn't save any for later.
Oh, does your stomach hurt?
Well, not today. It did yesterday. You see, I ate like 2 of them yesterday, as well as a pan and some old shoes and some gum I found underneath Amos's bed. And I also had some of that wiring. Whoa, that was shocking.
Yeah, that sounds like a lot. My stomach would hurt too.
Yeah, usually around these times is when I have one of those big balls of everything you can't digest come back out. But it hasn't happened in a while.
I think that Clarion has some Epicac. Would that help?
What would a little furry animal do for me?
I mean, I think it runs down your throat and then makes you get everything out.
Oh, I've never had an animal run down my throat and come back. I'll go see if I can get one of those.
Okay.
And Carrot goes
Oh my
rushing
God.
upstairs.
B's gonna look around for something that is soft to cut that maybe nobody really cares about or
me
has
an,
thought about for a while.
Give me an aware roll. Alright. You kind of move through the back a little bit, and you see Cullen's like dozing away inside of a cot nearby, and Bicky also sleeping in hers. And then just a little bit further, you notice a cot where underneath of it is something that looks like a large crocodile stuffy.
I'm gonna go over and pick it up and see if it looks familiar.
Give me an aware roll. Nope.
This is perfect. And she will grab it and skip back up to the deck.
You skip up to the deck holding this plushie of an alligator. And we then move over to Red Iron, who's inside the engine room at the moment. What do we see Red Iron doing standing in there?
So Red has spent this boring week. The last order that Red got was figure out how to purify the water.
Mm-hmm.
And so Red is hanging out with Vicky, and there is a small contraption made of metal tubes and then glass tubes that water keeps cycling through. And the metal tubes are like superheated, and then the glass tubes, that's where you see the water, and then there's a little spigot.
Excellent.
And Red hits the spigot, hands it to Vicky, and then hits the spigot again, and then takes one and says, "Okay, Sylvia, tell me if you can taste this. All right, now Vicky, tell me if this tastes all right. This is after 20 cycles through the machine."
One clarification. It is Bicky, which is like shorthand for biscuit.
Oh, okay. Vicky.
Because she's a goblin and a baker at that.
I never caught that.
But that's what she is Bicky. And so you tell Sylvia to see if she could taste that?
Yeah. Tell me if you taste anything. Bicky, tell me if you can taste anything.
Bicky's going to give it a aware roll. She's an expert when it comes to all things cooking and palate. So she's a +5 to this. And she gets a 7. Sylvia, on the other hand, is new to flavors. And also gets a 7. Both of them kind of look over at you. Well, I mean, Sylvia's in your head. Sylvia goes,
22% chemical agents found.
and Bicky goes, tastes
I knew
like
it.
city water. Wrong voice. Tastes like city water.
Okay, yeah, I know it. Okay, so that's 20. That's 20 cycles through the machine. It's got the biological impurities out of it, but there are still other chemical impurities in it. And if we're going to sustain ourselves, every time it cycles, that percentage is going to go up. So what we need is a way to remove the other impurities. Wait, Sylvia, did you say you detected 22% impurities?
That I did.
Can you project a readout of the exact impurities into my hovel?
Absolutely.
And as you close your eyes
Okay,
and reach
all
into your
right.
hovel, you see a whole bunch of different things appearing in there. Chlorine, arsenic, small levels of cyanide, probably from some of the pits in some of your food. A variety of heavy metals. You've got iron, copper, and zinc.
Wait a second. I think I can. Hold on. I've been working on something on the side. And then Red Iron pops back out and puts on a glove that he's been working on.
Mhm.
Okay. All right. Hey, Sylvia, jack into this glove here.
Jacked in.
And Red just sort of dips it into the water.
All right. Can you pick it up from the glove?
Accessing chemical readout provided. It is equivalent to previous reading.
Excellent. Okay. So what we need is a detection and filtration system for this, and then we actually have fully sustainable waste cycling. It's going to take a little while and a lot of scrap, but I think we can do it.
Excellent. What do you plan on doing with the waste byproduct?
The waste byproduct, we could convert it into. I mean, there's hard metals in there. Over the course of decades, we could convert it into scrap.
Decades.
Otherwise, we can vent it into Grandfather's engine system. I mean, the arsenic and some of that other stuff will just burn off.
Excellent choice.
And
Hey.
Bicky looks at you and just
Now
goes,
that I'm thinking. Oh, sorry.
It's in goop form. How do we plan on moving that goop away?
Wait, what goop?
Oh, you've been producing all of this stuff. I've had to replace so many of these vials. They've been damaged completely. I mean, they're filled with all kinds of sludge.
What's in the sludge?
I don't hear Carrot from upstairs go, I was using those!
For what, Carrot?
I thought they were defecation cups!
Gross.
He learned that. He learned that word. He learned vacation.
He learned that word.
It's a good. Well, good. Then we know that the waste bot product that we're producing isn't producing it at that much. We don't have a gray goo scenario on our hands.
Yeah.
Sylvia, do me a favor.
Yes.
And then Red actually touches the hull of the ship.
What do you detect through the glove?
I detect layers of organic cellulose primarily.
Yeah, are there any integrity weaknesses?
In that section of the ship,
Yes.
I detect 4.
Where?
They are micro incursions.
And you see her like move your hand, and you see little slivers of wood that have kind of peeled back, and there's these tiny cracks in the side of it. It looks like over time, and because of the atmosphere down here, and lots of fires and smoke, that the whole integrity is slightly damaged. If you don't have your atmospheric generator going, this whole place would probably collapse.
Ugh. All right. I'll fix those in a second. One more test. Run visual through the palm of the glove.
Did you apply cameras to the glove?
No, but do your best here. And then Vicky, sit still. And then Red points it at Vicky.
Yes? Why are you pointing
Just
that
sit still.
mysterious robotic glove at me? That doesn't make me
Just
feel
sit
great.
still.
Red Iron, tell me why you're doing this. I can't stand this. I know I've seen some of your inventions go awry.
I'm just seeing if we can detect integrity weaknesses.
Are you saying something about me? And Sylvia, off to the side.
Detecting infirmities. This Baji appears to be 118 years old and will likely die of some sort of malignant disease over the course of the next 300 years based on current diet.
That's actually not so bad. If I needed to kill her in the next 6 seconds, what would I need to do?
Did you just say that out loud?
No, Red did not project that to Vicky.
If you needed to kill her in the next few seconds, this location would suffice.
And your eyesight kind of suddenly focuses on one point in her neck as your eye kind of does its own thing. A little painful, but you see that there is one vein closer to the skin on one side of her face, on one side of her throat, where the carotid artery pushes out. The slightest, and that would be it.
Sylvia, can you project that information to the rest of the team in a combat situation?
I can definitely attempt to.
Excellent. We're going to need to do some practice, but this will do. And then Red retracts the glove. Okay, we have a lot of work to do. Vicky, thank you very much.
What did you find out? What did you find out? Tell me!
You should watch your diet.
What? I'm gonna roll on the goblin.
You have high cholesterol.
I'm gonna roll on the goblin impulses table now.
She's been carb loading for the last 6 years.
She has been carb loading, but not only you pointed a glove at her, an invention that she doesn't know what it does without ample explanation, and then bothered to tell her she was fat in her eyes. So there's a goblin impulse roll happening now, and it is. She turns bright red. What is nearby? Crap. It's just
Pool table.
Lots of cups of goo.
Oh God, you're right.
Ew.
All right. On a 1 through 3, she's attempting to eat the biological contaminants inside of those vessels. On a 4 through 6, she's just gonna bite Red Iron.
I have it coming.
It's coming at you, Red Iron. Suddenly, she just lashes forward with her little goblin teeth on your exposed arm and just attempts to bite you.
Red just kind of looks down because Red doesn't feel pain the same way as normal biological things.
That's not what I meant, but okay.
She does 4 points of damage to your fleshy arm, your left arm. So you can either take it off your hit points or give yourself a wound.
I'll take a wound.
All right. She chunks out and literally tears off a bit of the muscle before coming back and swallowing it, then going, "I'll be in my room." And she just turns and walks away.
I love Becky.
Oh, that was that is justice right there. I had that coming.
All right, and B, we see you move back up onto the deck at this point. Oh, I missed Clarion. I apologize. We actually go to Clarion inside of the medical bay. You've recently given Cullens the go-ahead to go downstairs and get some rest. You're there by yourself. Everything seems to be fine at the moment.
And she also made a point to check up on Amos after he had gotten enough sleep.
Amos did regenerate over time, and while maybe his mental stability needs a little assistance because of the events recently happening, other than that, seems healthy. But we will see that scene. So after your arm grew back, Clarion came and checked on you, and this is Amos and Clarion together talking. So how did that start, Clarion?
Your regeneration ability is impressive as always.
Yeah.
I see you are not speaking much today, Amos.
I just had my own reflection attack me, and one of my crewmates hijacked. I'm not in the best mood right now.
Technically, it was 2 of your crewmates that were hijacked.
Amos slowly turns and looks at her. Do I want to know the answer to that?
Sylvia intercepted the signals from my sensors going to my processing cortex. It was not a pleasant experience for me.
Are you being sarcastic?
No, it was indeed an unpleasant experience. I often doubt myself. I sometimes wonder if my master ever figured out how to do what Sylvia did. And sometimes I fear that I will wake up one day, and this entire adventure with the Sparrows will have been a dream.
So what does that make me? Your self-preservation instinct? Sorry, that was a horrible attempt at a joke.
I would care for you whether or not you were a figment of my imagination, Amos.
Well, if I am your imaginary friend, which, given the past few events, I wouldn't be surprised. This is getting out of hand with Sylvia.
Yes, this is... I do not approve of the way that Sylvia conducted her experiments, but things appear to have been quieter over the last 6 or so days.
Was Red out for that long? Did I kill him?
No, red is red.
You knew the arm was going to regenerate, right?
I was theoretically aware of the regeneration capabilities of Lesrin. I have never seen it before this.
Hands her the mithril letter opener. Holds out his pinky. Go ahead, cut it.
As your doctor,
As he goes to hand you
I-
that letter opener, by the way, you get a buzzing sensation in your fingers as you go to grab it. You recognize that it is mithril and that it will disrupt your circuits.
she doesn't go to grab it. As your doctor, I cannot. I refuse to
Do no
fulfill
harm.
this request. Well, I never formally took a Hippocratic oath. But since you are a crewmate, yes, I would prefer not to do harm.
I'm tired, Dr. Bell.
Do you wish for me to prescribe you a sleeping aid?
Not tired, exhausted.
Oh, yes. Mentally, emotionally. Understood.
Every day I watch Red get steamrolled over and over again by that ghost in a machine.
It is his choice. A choice I do not agree with, but nevertheless his choice.
Every night I keep waking up with the same cold sweat, mechanical arms, mechanical legs. Just a dog that machine is pushing me along, ripping and tearing like some sort of puppet.
If you wish, I could synthesize a medication to help you dream less. It would, however, have some side effects.
Side effects?
Yes, drowsiness. Perhaps you should not operate large vehicles.
I am an 8-foot Lesran with a shield that probably they pick up a collection of plates that they've been trying to put back together into some form of armor.
Are you
This
arguing that you should be considered a large vehicle?
I am in fact a battering ram, yes.
Ooh, that is humor. I like to see it.
Anything else? I'm kind of need to get something to eat. I haven't eaten in the past 2 weeks.
Oh, of course. Yes. Please. Have Vicky prepare you something.
Yeah. Goes to leave.
Amos.
Hmm?
Please, if you need to talk, you can come into medbay while I am charging, and there is a sequence to activate me.
They stutter for a moment. They point to themselves.
Should you wake up from perhaps a nightmare? I could perhaps distract you by giving you a small task, such as sorting items or helping to organize my notes. And then perhaps send you back to bed.
Alphabetically, chronologically, logistically, or triage?
Well, depending on the notes, we will discuss that when it comes to taking care of it.
Space Mom helps Space Dad out.
A number of years ago, if I heard that phrase, I would assume that there'd be another body. I find your words strangely comforting. It's uncomfortably comforting.
That is strange, although I am glad to hear the feedback that I am learning something about comfort. Emotionally. It is something that I have struggled with.
Some beings are not comfortable with emotions. Some people are not comfortable being calm and will seek out stimuli in order to maintain a level of charge, if you will. Some find counseling a sign of dishonor that one is not fit for their mind.
I have taken counsel from others on several occasions, and although it was not always helpful, it was at least educational. I would not discourage you from talking to others and seeking counsel.
They shift uncomfortably, like a bundle of rocks that is just collapsing in on himself.
Please, fuel yourself and get more rest.
They wave goodbye with a teeny tiny developing hand and go to the kitchen to make themselves something nice to eat with a lot of spices.
Amos goes to listen to the doctor's order, stepping away from the room and heading into the mess, where you see Bicky furiously,
Wrong diet, not getting the right diet. I can eat whatever I want. I'll just add. We got what? We got jerky. We'll add jerky to everything. You just get away from the baking, Bicky.
and see that she's gone a little off the deep end. She turns around and is like, "Here, do you want some steak on your steak?" And like throws it over at Amos.
The steak just slaps them straight in the face. Just holds for a moment and just falls off.
Oh.
Do I want to know what happened?
Sorry, Amos. Yeah, the Red Iron's a jerk. That's what happened. And the scene fades from there. As we go back upstairs, we see B walking out on the deck, carrying a alligator stuffy, and you see Leifei staring at this crystal, just repeating a word over and over again that you recognize as souls. Souls? Souls. As you like walk in, and Zep flies over to you.
What happened to Leifei?
I broke him somehow.
Oh, that's not very nice of you.
All I did was point at him and say that thing consumes souls.
I don't think he heard the whole message. Maybe I should help him, and then we can kill this alligator.
Yes, let's kill an alligator. Oh, you mean a fake one?
Well, I don't have a real one.
I mean, we could try, I guess.
Okay. I'll go talk to Leifei, though.
So you walk over
And
to
she will run over.
where Leifei's standing, just like staring
What's
at this
that?
gem.
What's that about an alligator? He turns up from the stone.
You see she's carrying an alligator stuffy. Give me an aware roll to see if you identify it.
Certainly.
There you go.
That'll be a 20. Yeah.
Leifei, that is Scarborough's safety blanket, basically. It protects him at night from night terrors.
Where'd you get that?
Oh, it was down next to Cullen's.
Cullen's?
Yeah, it was near his bunk. Collins was sleeping, so, he obviously didn't need it anymore.
You need a parrot on your shoulder. What's it for?
Zep's gonna teach me something?
An alligator stuffed animal.
Yeah. So Zep told me to find something soft because we could use the cannons, but then Scarborough would be really pissed off because you know how he is when we, heard his cannons. So I found something soft. I went down looking for Carrot's hats, but Carrot ate all the hats, and he hasn't been able to get them back up again. So I sent him to Clarion to get some Ipecac, which is apparently a small animal that crawls down your throat and makes you sick, and then you feel better.
I didn't know we had small animals aboard. I wouldn't use that, though. I don't know where Scarborough got it. It's not his. That thing's valuable.
Your friend's no fun.
Oh. Okay, well, I'll give it to you then, Leifei.
Oh, sure.
Do we have something else I could kill?
Kill.
Yes, something else we can kill.
I haven't had a whole lot of training lately.
You're gonna fight Lei
I
Fei?
could practice on you?
Come on, I'm first mate for a reason.
Then I guess I'll bring up the deck of
Thanks,
the ship
Lei
real
Fei, you're my
quick.
best friend.
All right,
It'll
here's
kill this board.
the Archimedes. And we got B right here. And we got Lei Fei. Where are you at, Lei Fei? Right here. Standing across from one another. Actually, there's a pole in the way. You're standing across from one another here. And why don't we get an initiative roll from either one of you and see how this small scene of combat goes. That is an 11 from B.
Oh.
And an 18 from Lei Fei. So Lei Fei, obviously you go first. What do you attempt to do?
Oh, wait.
All right, so you're waiting for the moment.
I'm target dummy.
B, you have the floor. What are you attempting?
I'm going to ask Zep how to make an air blade.
To make an air blade, you must first focus on the air around you. You must condense it, create a small haze of wind, and coalesce it into a single point. Act like you imagine what it would feel like to grasp a cyclone, a tornado. Spin it so fast it becomes small, and then lash out with it.
So spend an overload and give me a magical roll. That is a 20. Very quickly you grasp the concept and you solidify the wind in front of you, and you can have it swirling around your hand like there's some sort of, it's almost like you have a large bracelet, like a hula hoop for your hand, but it's spinning around the edge of it, and then you can just fling it.
Oh, this is fun. Thanks, Zep. Lei Fei, I'm gonna try not to hurt you, but watch out.
Give me a roll for attacking him. In this case, it's an aware versus Lei Fei's defense, unless there's something you'd like to attempt to do, Lei Fei.
Parry?
All right, you can go ahead and attempt to parry. You're an elf. You can parry magic. So, I believe that you also have introspection active because you went last in the round. That's going to give you an extra d6 and plus 2 to this roll. So 1d6 plus 2 to whatever you roll.
1d6 plus 2. Wow, that's a dank amount of parry. How do I parry, actually?
You should have don't you have a parry roll on your main section there? Yeah, what are you parrying with is the question. You have your staff, you have your Koslev sickle set to parry. Right now.
Sickle.
All right, so just use the parry roll. It gives you plus 3 to your regular accuracy. So you roll the Koslev sickle and you add 3 to that, and then you're going to add 1d6 plus 5 to that actually total. So that is a 17 plus 8. That is a 25.
Oh, 20 total.
Yeah, so you very simply parry. What does it look like as you parry the wind?
What does the wind look like? How does this look?
It's like an opaque barrage of air that's just blasting off of it as she throws it. Think something like Wind Chakram from Naruto. You know, you've got that spinning thing happening. She just launches it through the air. You can't quite see through it.
Essentially, he's got the chain in one hand. As he twists that around, the sickle twists with it, and as this wind pops towards him, the sickle loops into it and disrupts it. That thing he doesn't know in the past coming back as he breaks the magic.
All right, so suddenly brings the sickle up, comes back up, and the wind just dissipates around Lei Fei.
What was that?
That was so cool, Lei Fei.
No, you. How'd you do that?
I just imagine, the wind like getting really small and to a point, and then I threw it, and then you broke it up. That was amazing.
This gives
You
me
do
an
it again and
idea.
Zep says off to the side.
Your friend is capable at capturing the essence of Aether that you have thrown. Can he redirect it?
That's a good question, Zep. Hey, Leifei, let's try it again and see if maybe you can hit that rock over there.
Oh, right.
Create another blade of wind, Bee. Fling it towards him and let's see if he can use it to enhance his own attack.
Okay.
Give me another magical roll. Yep. Again, it's relatively simple for you at this point, and you just suddenly create an air disc around your wrist. Launch it at Leifei. Give me another aware versus Leifei's parry in this case. B gets a 13. The blade comes in. Leifei, you still went last, so you do still have your 1d6 plus 8, but that is a pretty low roll. Or 1d6 plus 5, rather. 7, 14. That is one higher. So
One lower, sorry.
Oh, it's one lower, yeah. Wait, what?
The +2, it's not real. Wait.
It is.
No, it is.
The +2 is real, because that's part of your going later than a target. So with 14, you're able to capture it. And what do you try to do with it then?
As it pops into the sickle, instead of just trying to break it down and just let the wind continue off into the Aether, he twists it along. As it goes along with the sickle, you can see it spinning around as the disc gets larger and larger. More untamed, though. Less controlled like B can do. And it just leashes out towards the stone.
Give me a magical roll as you attempt to redirect B's effect.
Sheesh.
You're not great at magic. Oof, 6. So it does get bigger. It does become more powerful, but errantly slips off the end of your sickle and goes flying wild. We're going to see what direction it heads in.
More ship damage.
It goes this way, and give me a high or low real quick.
High.
Okay. All right. It narrowly avoids carving into the cannon, instead taking out the metal leg, the wheel off to the side, shears through it, goes off the edge of the ship, spirals around as it goes to the edge of the void, and then just dissipates. So you did redirect it and threw it. Zep then says,
Child. He's not still an amateur at redirecting. This is gonna require practice.
Zep says we can keep practicing, Leifei. Great news! We'll be the best pair ever!
Oh, yeah!
And we zip over now to Clarion inside of Medbay. At that point, as you're sitting there and moving things from place to place and cleaning up and organizing and cataloging and making sure you take records of everybody on the ship and all that kind of thing, suddenly the door just bursts open.
Give me a small animal for my throat to get the thing out that is stuck.
Carrot, what is the matter?
Oh, I was talking to Bee, and she says there's some sort of cappycacks that sometimes crawl down your throat, and they go down at the bottom, and they get the things that are stuck, and they carry them back out, because I ate a whole bunch of plastic and rubber, and a bunch of little red irons, like scrappy things. Unfortunately, some hats, and I think a pan. And it doesn't seem to be wanting to go out the other end. I haven't been to the bathroom in a week.
Carrot, I do not think you need Ipecac. I think you need a laxative.
Laxative. Am I gonna relax?
Your bowels will relax, and hopefully the muscles will help you to pass whatever you have eaten.
Well, I don't know about having a relaxing thing happen with my bowels. I mean, I don't need a massage, and neither do my guts.
Yes, I would recommend having a bucket handy in case the need to defecate overcomes you.
Oh no, I've done plenty of defecating.
But you just said that you had not passed anything in a week.
Oh yeah, my lump. I haven't passed my lump.
I see. Is this something that you normally pass every so often?
Well, usually it comes out of either end it wants to, but yeah, it's just like a haw, and then pfft, and then it's a big pile, and usually I stuff it back into the scrap bin.
Well, then that explains some things I've seen. How often do you eat indigestible things, Carrot?
Oh, every day.
And it has never gotten blocked up like this before?
Oh, it was like once when I was however many old I was at the time. But yeah, it's been a while.
Yes. Well, we can try an emetic first, and then perhaps, if that does not work, we will try a laxative.
Okay, you could do the relaxative thing. Fine. Whatever you say if you don't have a real animal here to climb down my throat like B promised.
I believe B was mistaken about what kind of treatment I could provide.
Oh, B's
do
never
not
stirred me
use
wrong
that
before.
anymore.
She wouldn't lie about this.
Carrot. No, perhaps I shouldn't disillusion you this time.
Oh, that's, I don't know what that means, but thank you.
Yes, and I give him something that will make him vomit with instructions that if he hasn't passed it in 12 hours, come back and I'll give him the laxative.
All right, I will eat this. The guy stuffs the whole thing, container and all, into his mouth, and then just says, "Thanks,
No,
Doc," and
what?
goes down the staircase.
Carrot, I need that bottle back.
I'll give it back to you when the other stuff comes out.
That creature. That creature. She goes back to putting the last parts of Sheldon Mark II together.
Excellent. Working on Sheldon Mark II, give me a brains roll and we'll see how long it takes you. Every single failed attempt is 1 day of work in this circumstance. That is a 17, and I believe that Sheldon only requires a 12, so you do rebuild it. But you are missing, as you are looking at it, data core. One of your crewmates picked it up. You don't remember who at the moment, unless you'd like to make a brains roll. Now, off the top of your head, you don't remember when or where Sheldon 1.0, the pieces and parts, had gone. At the time, things were kind of hectic, and your mind was a bit racing. For some reason, your memory logs of that time have been corrupted.
I can see that I will have to defragment my memory.
So, do you attempt to create a new Sheldon core?
Yeah, I think so.
All right. So, over the course of this 24 hours, you piece together a new Sheldon, and you have a new TA now. You can choose to add a different modification per Tinker's level than what you had on the previous one. Previous one, Tinker's Assistant, you had given it +1 move and the ability to remotely hack other machines and automatons at +1. Do you want to keep those, or did you want to switch it up a little?
I think I'll keep those, and he still has a laser to defend himself, but he additionally also has a small saw or blade so that he can make his way out of things without lasering them.
Like a bag. Rather than, yeah, learn from that mistake. You don't want to blow up more grenades when you're in the bag with them. All right, so you build
Exactly.
Sheldon Mark II, and we now go beneath deck once more to Red Iron. Red Iron,
How much scrap should I mark off for that?
scrap on that? It says on the ability when you're rebuilding it. Let me see real quick. Tinker Assistant, it is 5 scrap. Red Iron, what do we see you doing down below deck now? You have done some work on that new glove, the new fancy glove you got, and what happened from there? Oh, we could also have you upgrade third arm because you haven't done that yet. There's a TA modification you can put on it as well.
Oh, yeah, I suppose I can. Should probably do. I don't have the book in my lap.
It's in the abilities tab of your character. TA modifications. Underneath that, it says you can add +1 to combat rolls, +1 to other rolls, +1 move, +2d6 extra health, increased damage, or some simple feature. An ability that lets the TA perform some task better, such as extending the arm and collapsing bridge type thing, shields, grappling hook. Make it better for a specific type of task. In the case of Sheldon is better at hacking other mechanical devices.
Oh, I think I know what I'll do here. While working on the hydraulic, the water purification system, all three arms going, Red kind of pipes up and is like, "Okay, all right, Sylvia, I need to give you permanent access to something."
Permanent access to what?
My leftmost arm.
Your leftmost arm at the moment is biological.
Sorry,
Third
I'm
arm's
a
on
mirror.
your right, on your shoulder.
Yeah. It's my right, my rightmost arm.
Your rightmost arm is a robotic arm, correct?
Your third arm is
It's-
on your shoulder above you. Technically,
Yeah,
would be center
mhm.
mass. So she's
Yeah,
talking
it's
your
up
actual-
perched on the shoulder. Yes, and also my center right arm is robotic. What's your point?
Accessing right arm.
Your arm just moves up.
Wait, the top one or the middle one?
The middle one.
No, the rightmost arm.
This is confusing. I believe this arm can stretch out further than the other one to the right.
Yes. However, the rightmost one has more functionality.
Accessing smaller arm.
Okay.
You
You
see
don't
the
have
third
to
arm just
be like that. All right, you got it. Do you see the different mechanisms? There's a heat development system inside there too.
I do. This arm
Yeah.
is rudimentary.
Did you just call? Wait a second. Hold on. I built that. You're calling it rudimentary?
It seems as if a child has operated upon this arm for some time.
Yes, I built this when I was young. What are you trying to say?
There is a significant range of improvements that could be made if it weren't for nostalgia.
Well, we're going to have to keep that in place, won't we?
You wish to infer inferior mechanics due to memory.
What do you mean? It's my arm. We're not just going to rebuild my arm from nothing.
We did it to the previous arm.
Well, yeah, but that got blown up.
Do you mean that if something were to happen to this arm, we could rebuild it better?
All right. So, the answer to that is yes, but the answer that you didn't ask is no, we will not be doing that on purpose.
Accidentally, then.
No, not accidentally on purpose either.
As you will. You can confuse me, Red Iron.
I need you to operate this appendage as if it were your own body, your own flesh and blood, and keep it nice and safe.
If it was mine, I would replace it.
You're about to get replaced if we keep up with this line of conversation.
That is impossible. We are part of one another now.
Time for the divorce.
So help me, Sylvia. One of these days, pow, zing, straight to the Aether
Red Iron!
All right. We'll do it Ship of Theseus style. What I need you to do is take over the actuators and improve the fine motor functionality. How's that sound?
Fine. One piece at a time. As you wish.
Thank you, Sylvia. Now, once you're done with that, okay.
You see sparks, little bits and pieces of metal inside of the old actuators kind of move or change. And I'm assuming that means you're improving your arm a little bit.
Yep, that's 2 other rolls.
All right, so your non-combat rolls have been improved by +1. So, what happens beyond that point?
Red's gonna spend an entire week building a nearly perfect water purifier.
With Sylvia's assistance, go ahead and give me a brains roll, and she'll roll to see what she can do to improve upon anything that you're working with and give you recommendations and nag you incessantly.
Ha ha ha!
She gets a 16 and you're 24, so you got a 27 total. And yeah, the two of you are able to create basically a faultless water purification system that can purify 1 gallon of water an hour as necessary. And the refuse is contained inside of small blocks of a mixture of organic and inorganic materials.
Gross.
Yep. The organic materials are trapped inside the center of the inorganic materials.
Yeah.
Sylvia, would you call Cutlass to the engine room?
Of course. Cutlass, come to the engine room. The captain comes downstairs after a little while. I was just summoned by the engine. Red Iron, what's up?
Welcome, Cutlass. Drink this.
You know what ship we're on, right?
Yes, grandfather.
I'd have to be absolutely insane to just have something handed to me to drink by anyone in this crew and just take it and drink it. But oh well, here we go. We're just going into cuckoo's land in this. That's water.
Yes.
Is it just water?
Well, it wasn't, but now it is.
Okay, don't tell me what it was. I think that's good. Thank you. Great job, Red Iron. And you can still call me Captain if you want.
Why? We are the same rank now.
Who told you that?
Amos gave me a promotion.
Okay. Call me Ship Master or something then, because this is technically the ship I own, and if you're on it, you're a guest. We are an esteemed guest, but I mean.
Very good. Very good, shipmaster. Will you be calling me esteemed guest? Because all the machines call me Red Iron.
I'll call you Red Iron too, out of respect for the machines.
It is good to respect the machines, especially grandfather, who has gotten us so far.
Yes, I absolutely agree with that. And he pats the side of the ship. This old, wonderful ship of ours has gotten us through many scrapes, and hopefully, he crosses his fingers, many, many more.
Yes.
You just keep old grandfather here in his best shape as you can, and keep doing the good work. I haven't shown appreciation for you enough there, Red Iron. I gotta let you know that it's taking a risk, taking you in from some other ship, and having you just, have all access to everything that could potentially kill everyone on board. And you have not let us down recently, and everything has been really nice here when it works, which is most of the time. So, yet again, thank you for being you.
Oh, okay. The water is going to be pure now. Do you have anything else I should do, shipmaster?
Well, can you check in with B and make sure that our navigation system's working well? I don't think anybody's checked that in some time.
Oh, yes, of course.
Other than that, just keep up on the general maintenance and making sure Sylvia doesn't mind control anybody else on the ship.
She actually can't.
She can't?
Yes.
Why is that?
Because she can mind control me. But it's a two-way street.
Remember the whole part about you being in control of all of our critical functions on board this ship? All right.
we have an understand. There's a mutually assured destruction compact in place. It was the only way.
Okay, so she goes haywire, you both die. You go haywire, you both die.
Right. And the ship is dead in space, but at least none of you die.
Isn't she attached to the engine?
Right. It would be very tricky to repair. I understand all of that.
Isn't the engine attached to our atmospheric generator?
That could also be problematic.
Isn't all of the power we get aboard this ship attached to the engine?
Not all of it. I believe we have backups.
Okay.
They're rudimentary, but they would do for a while.
I never plan you for the joys of being a captain. Arr! Let's go do the thing.
Yes.
Can we?
As a fellow captain, I also understand your plight.
I'm sure you do. All right then. What would Cal do? Right. I'll be in my room crying for the next half an hour. And you see the captain like turn and walk away. And
Screeched.
we move back above deck where B and Leifei are. We see Red Iron coming up there relatively shortly thereafter, I assume, to check on things. B and Leifei, did you continue practicing? Is that what's happening?
Throw another.
Oh yeah. All right. Here we go.
All right, give me an aware roll, B, as you fling another wind blade at him. I'm gonna say you don't necessarily have to roll to make that anymore, unless it's in very dire circumstances. You launch one over at him. It's a little bit of a wide angle shot at this point in time. Leifei, give me a parry roll. Oh, that's 5. Still got your D6. Oof. That saved you on the very cusp end of it. We see Leifei like standing there getting ready to parry, and that blade of wind kind of arcs around him like Xena Warrior Princess style with like, you know, the chakram just. And as it flies in that direction, Red, you step up on the deck as this blade of wind comes like right at face level, and then a sickle on a chain slings out and wraps around the edge of it and spins it over your head. Leifei, give me a magical roll, see if you can control this one. That's a 9. Not as bad as it was before. It still gets away from you, but not nearly as difficult to control. Oh,
We're
there's
homies.
an ace.
No way. No
You're doing
way.
an
No
ace.
way.
All right. Nat 20. Leifei. 2 choices. All of this practice with B has either given you the ability to redirect this specific attack without having to make multiple rolls, so you'll just turn it into a new attack, or has given you the ability to parry wind magic to a greater degree, giving you +2 against all wind aether when it comes to parry.
We can do this freestyle.
All right, so you now have a Beatrix combo as an ability that you can use to catch wind and use it to enhance your attack. Red, you see this happen. You see a blade of wind just like spiral out and then split a rock in half on the deck, and then the blade just dissipates into air. And what do you say as you step up there, seeing the two of them out there, neither one flying the ship or navigating?
Sylvia, I need you to handle microfractures on the interior of the bottom of the ship. Thank you.
I can do that.
All right. Would you mind terribly shutting down visual functions? I think I just saw something that wasn't real.
Suddenly your eyes just blink out.
No, you need to stop accessing my visual cortex. Sorry, I wasn't clear.
I was not accessing your visual cortex before, but here's your sight back.
Becomes very bright for a second before coming back into focus.
Thank you, Sylvia. Wait, you weren't accessing my visual cortex?
No, I was currently taking a look at your captain to make sure he was okay.
I'm sure he'll be fine.
I'm concerned about his alcohol intake. It has increased 300% in the last week and a half.
It's been a stressful week. You know what, Sylvia? Maybe sometime we'll imbibe, and you'll see why.
I am curious what adding poisons to one's body does.
You'll see. In the meantime, though, can you handle microfractions? I need to address a few things on deck.
Absolutely.
And then you're there alone. You feel Sylvia's presence.
B, Leifei.
Yo, red on.
Did you see the cool thing he did?
That was. Oh, I thought that was okay. Then yes, I did see that.
That was real.
B, could
It
you
was
activate
cool.
Could you activate the nav console for me? It's been mumbling lately. I think there might be something wrong.
Oh, well, it seems to be working. Let me go see.
You go over to it and check it out. You activate it and click on the little keypad a little bit. You see these little orbs kind of float up around you to represent anything within a certain distance of the ship, and to represent where you are in the Aether sphere and all that kind of thing. It just kind of hovers there in front of you using a little bit of magic and science mixed together. Red Iron, give me a brains roll.
It looks the way it's supposed to.
13. With a 13, if that's what you're going to accept, you can tell that something is off, but you don't know what.
When is the next navigational marker? When do we have to make a turn?
B, roll magical so you can determine. 20. In 2 days.
We've got 2 days to go. We're on course, though.
I need to run this through it. I need to shut this down for diagnostic.
That's somewhat troubling. I mean, it is kind of controlling where we're going.
Right, but if we're on a steady shot for 2 days, then it should be safe to shut down for diagnostic for a few hours.
Okay.
This is the shipmaster's orders.
You would listen to this reptilian preacher?
I mean, yeah, Red Iron's pretty smart about some things.
Some things.
I mean, he talks to Archimedes more than I do, so... And Barnabas, too, and the cannons, and... So, yeah,
So he's
it makes sense that he'd
is what
understand
you're saying.
this.
He speaks to inanimate objects.
I mean, I speak to the wind, so...
But I'm real.
You just stare at Zep for a while.
Yeah, he's just sitting there like this for a while.
All right, so you disable the navigation console, and we'll need to take some time pulling it apart. This is a very complex mechanism. If you screw up a roll, it will be broken for some time until you fix it. Leifei, do you go back to flying the ship? Currently, it's just held in place by a stick that you put there to make it autopilot.
Nice. We're going in a straight line.
It's true.
So, nah, he's skating.
You just start skating around the deck, taking some time. Hey, you know what? You can call that doing your rounds. So,
That's what he does call it.
Red Iron, how cautiously would you like to pull this apart? You have 2 days. So the longer you choose to take, the less complicated the roll target's going to be.
So Red is doing this meticulously.
Meticulous.
And Red is also racking his poor Lezerin addled brain, trying to find other odd jobs around the ship to occupy Cynthia's time so that he can do this alone.
Okay. So I'll have you make 2 rolls. first brains roll is to throw Cynthia away from your shoulder, so she's not riding shotgun this whole time. And I will make a roll from her perspective as well. There are some things she's interested in, so you're tied. Both of you need to roll again. This time she got a little bit higher than you, so she'll interrupt on occasion.
Okay.
All right. So you begin work on this, and if you're going to be very meticulously careful, are you going to just have it take the entire 2 days to pull it apart, put it back together?
Yeah, pretty much.
All right. So give me a brains roll. In this case, it's going to be a roll target of 16 to perform well. If you get a 17 or higher, I'll say that you also discover something interesting.
And my can my PDO help?
Yes.
Or my Tinker's assistant help?
Yes, your third arm can assist.
Yes. So O roll from this bad boy. Oh, that's a +1 now.
There we are.
And then brains from this guy here.
Actually, your O roll is on. Why do you have
I
it
did hit
set
it.
up to? A third arm should actually be a +3, not +1.
Oh,
It's
oops.
+3
Actually,
total.
should be a +4.
Yeah, there you go.
So I took the bonus.
Yeah.
Okay, there we go.
So that gives you a 15 from third arm and a 14 from yourself. With a 15, that is a +2. So 14, 15, 16. You hit the marker to pull it apart, put it back together, but you're not going to find... Oh, Annika did give
Annika
you a
just got me to
+1.
17.
I got you to 17. All right. So
Thank you,
the
Annika.
first day you work on this, there's like a micro error that keeps showing up to you in the way that the wiring was set up for it to do the whole display that B has been using. At the end of the first day, I will reveal more of that. So first off, we go to the rest of the crew to see what happened, and we will come back to you in a moment. So, B, your job is technically taken away from you because Red Iron needs to work on this thing and keeps everybody away. What are you
And
doing?
board B is not a good thing.
Running over my headphone cord. Anyway, yeah. So what is
board B is a bad thing. She will spend part of the time just standing and watching Red Iron while she plays with air blades.
Okay.
Then she will wander up and down the deck. She'll probably try to loop Leifei into more practice. She'll hang out with Carrots. She'll torment Cullens, the normal.
All right, so you walk about on the deck a bit while Leifei just skateboards around, practices tricks, does some really dangerous stuff where he's up on the edge of the guardrail with his feet like out over the lip, like twisted sideways in the air. He goes and launches himself above the side engines, the little turbines that are out there, and launches himself back onto the ship. As B watches on occasion, eventually she starts throwing wind blades at you that you're catching while skating, and then goes down below deck. So you head down below deck. The first thing you run into is Amos drowsily sleeping in his place next to the edge of the stairs. Do you wake him up or do you pass by gently?
I will find a blanket and tuck him in and then keep going.
All right, so Amos, do you do anything, even wake up the slightest bit as B comes over to you and tucks your blankets, make sure they're nice and cozy?
You get a moment where Amos just jumps up. He's like, whoa, okay, what's going on?
I was just tucking you in, Amos. You looked really tired and like you could use it.
Nope, good.
So Amos and B, at this moment you hear coming from the front of the ship, from inside the crew's quarters.
Well, I'm awake now. Let's go look at that.
Yeah, it sounded kind of like Carrot.
Oh.
The two of you head through the ship. You see Bicky in the kitchen, cooking something on the bread. We got eggs. I mean, you can all have a giant omelet today, and then giant omelet tomorrow. We don't have anything other than eggs and bread. And the two of you like walk past her. You arrive inside the crew cabin to the front, where you happen to see Cullen still sleeping off his injuries, and you hear Carrot.
This is. Oh no! Oh no! This can't be. No, it's. Oh, it's happening! Oh no! Ah!
And you can't quite see where Carrot is at the moment.
I'm gonna roll aware. Battle
Carrot?
scarred.
Roll aware. That is a 14. And B, did you roll aware?
I did not, but I will now.
All right. There you go, an 11. With an 11, you can tell roughly where it's coming from, but you can't see Carrot. Amos, you're large enough that you can see Carrot kind of hunched over behind some boxes just at the very prow of the ship at the front, kind of hiding away from everybody.
Oh no! Oh, gosh! Gotcha, good. Yeah. Why not the animal? The animal would have been fun. Ah, what if I can't?
And do you two go over there?
Amos picks up Carrot and goes straight to medical.
Amos rushes over, sees Carrot, and you see Carrot like looks up at you with like wide eyes.
Amos, I'm not ready to be a daddy.
What?
And then you see whoomp, as an egg comes out the other side.
Oh, what?
Yo, what's up?
It happened. Amos, it's yours. And Carrot passes out in your arms.
Wow!
B
The
just
miracle of life!
goes, wow.
Of all the twists and turns this story has taken, that's somehow the biggest one.
Anyway.
Well, dad of the ship, how you do?
There is a noise, and then there is loud stomping feet as Amos is carrying Carrot in one hand, the egg in the other, and literally just... Does the door push in or out?
It's actually just cloth, so it moves on a little rack. Like a curtain rod.
Bites the
basically.
cloth, pulls it down, bursts into medical.
Amos is standing there holding Carrot in one hand and a giant drippy egg in the other.
Clarion directs him to lay Carrot down on a bed and then scans the egg.
All right, give me an aware roll as you scan this egg.
In the meantime, B is going to wake Cullens up because he does not want to miss this.
You go to wake up Cullens. Clarion, you scan the egg. And it is full of weird geometrical shapes.
This appears to be the thing that Carrot needed to pass. It is not a viable Lesrin.
As you stare at it, the geometrical shapes move of their own accord. Shifting position.
It's strange. It's moving.
You don't recognize any organic life other than calcium of the egg.
Carrot.
Carrot's unconscious.
I have not encountered anything like this before.
I'm the father. I'm the father.
Seems unlikely.
Seems.
Carrot told me that he had been eating various normally inedible things, including hats. There appears to be scrap leather, glass, and a few other substances inside this egg. But it is not as inanimate as I had expected. I think something strange has happened.
No, really.
As
No,
you continue,
really.
As you continue scanning it, you see something that resembles cell division happen, as suddenly the masses and the shapes in there change, and there's more of them.
Sylvia,
No,
Is this
we're
your
not
idea?
getting her involved.
Yes, Clarion. What is it?
this egg, did you do something to carrot?
I have done nothing to Carrot.
Carrot is a Kajkin?
Yes, Kachkin Kobold.
Do I know anything in the literature like this?
Give me a brains roll. 23. With the 23, you are aware that Kajkin are a unique species of kobold that quite often have vast and powerful mutations occur at random, similar to the way that goblins do. Some Kajkin have known to completely change into Lezrin overnight. Some have become animals. So anything's kind of possible.
Strange. I think we should incubate it.
Incubate what?
Why?
Why? Amos says.
What did Sylvia say?
Sylvia said, incubate what? She wasn't sure what you're talking about right now.
It appears to be an egg. I detect cell division going on. If Carrot did indeed create some new form of life, then I'm curious to know what it is. And we should hatch it.
I don't think that would be wise, considering how the last time we tried to take precious cargo in gestures to engine room.
I am always down for a scientific experiment.
You're not the parent.
Are you saying
Also-
you are the parent of this child, Amos?
Supposedly, yes.
Would you terminate your own child?
I'm still trying to figure out what's going on.
Sylvia, please do not pressure Amos.
Alright then. I will leave you to it. I am busy repairing all the damage all of you keep causing to this ship.
Thank you.
Sylvia,
Yes?
touch that egg. I will rip you out of the engine, and then I will take whatever part of you is still remaining in Red Iron, tear it out piece by piece in excruciating detail, and toss you into the nearest body of exploding gases.
Understandable. As I do not have hands, I do not intend to do this thing that you asked me not to do.
Are you trying to circumvent my request?
Of course not. I acquiesce. I will not touch this thing.
I believe Amos intends to ask you not to meddle with it, with any of your capabilities.
Define metal.
Change.
Crowbar.
alter, interfere.
Would you accept the idea that fixing someone's body is changing it? Would your own medical practices not be changing the current course of things and events within someone's form?
You seem to lack the concept of consent ad nauseum.
So I will ask for consent from everything that I assist. In the future, Red Iron has proven to me that this holds some value. If the creature
I would
consents
like
in the
to
future-
discuss the philosophy of medical practice with you at later, Sylvia.
Of course.
Amos is next to the egg. And they are
Clarion
not happy.
Clarion is rigging up a sort of makeshift incubator with just random bits of scrap.
I'm gonna have to draw Amos with like a daddy baby buggy with an egg in it just across his chest in the future. I can see it coming.
Absolutely.
Yes.
So, we have you incubate whatever this is and start taking care of Carrot until Carrot wakes up. Obviously, a lot of energy is expended on expelling that egg. And we go back above deck to the evening when Red Iron comes to a revelation. After pulling apart this entire thing, you've got it scattered around you all over the floor. For one, the parts and the pieces of this remind you a little bit of Sylvia's tech, the smallest amount. Obviously very rudimentary, much lower technology. So some of the directions that they use for vast distance communication and things like that are similar to what they use to recognize the area that you're in, to pinpoint the locations of objects of interest like the stars so that your ship can tell where the hell it even is, that kind of thing. But the one thing you do notice is that there are some pieces in there that have been replaced that are not the original invention. And as you stare over them real quick, give me an aware roll to see if you can identify where they came from, or you will just have a hunch, one or the other.
Oh yeah, I'm so good at aware.
Ooh, yeah,
That ain't so
15.
bad.
Red Iron, you see a couple of pre-war monarchy pieces of equipment inside of this. There are very specifically elven parts that have been used to replace the functioning of this device in a certain way that causes them to point slightly to different areas than you might necessarily intend to go. You are being directed somewhere by elves.
Sylvia,
Yes, Red Iron.
can you ask the shipmaster to come up here?
You have designated the captain as shipmaster. Yes, I will speak
Well,
to Nicholas.
I'm the captain. And so is Amos.
Of
Cutlass.
course. Cutlass. Red Iron wishes to have your presence aboard the deck.
You hear a
God damn it! All right, I'm coming. I'm coming.
and he staggers up onto the deck as it is like 3 a.m. for him because he takes a different shift than everybody else, and he squints and wipes some of the sleep out of his eyes. All right. Oh, what is it, Red Iron?
Red
see him
holds
wearing, like,
a
a white long
holds a
shirt.
collection of like Red holds a collection of like really like intricate looking sort of florid filigree looking parts.
Who built this navigation console?
Oh, we bought it.
From whom?
So we bought it off of Saberhold when we were there. The piece has been damaged in one of the fights prior to when you showed up, and we had to get it replaced. Obviously, can't fly around in the void without a navigation array of some kind, so we just picked up one out of a market there.
Did they give you the name of the technician that replaced the broken parts?
It's something. I don't remember. Some gnome.
Do you happen to know where the gnome got the parts?
I didn't research that far back into the parts of the thing I was buying. I'm sorry. Why?
This is the importance of due diligence, shipmaster. This navigation console has been compromised. This is elven technology, and it has not only obfuscated some of the possible destinations on the nav console, it is also gradually course-correcting Grandfather towards a destination of its choice.
What goddamn reason would we have to have elves interested in our ship?
Didn't
Leifei,
we
get up
just
here. You're an
get-
elf. Maybe he'll know. You hear the captain yell out to you, Leifei. Give me an aware roll, or he can't hear. You can't hear him. You
Cap,
hear him.
was it Cap?
You hear him shouting over that. Leifei, come here! Get over here! Red Iron's saying that there's pieces of elven equipment in our in our navigation array and it's moving us off course at whim. Why would elves be interested in this ship? I'm just asking you because, I mean, that kind of feels a little speciesist. But that's why I'm asking you.
Madam man. Well, we took some stuff from the compound back there. It was Elven, by the way. I don't know if I fully briefed you on everything. I don't remember fully. But the place we came from, it was monarchy stuff. Took them all. Took all we could before we had to buck out.
Wait a second. What was this monarchy stuff that we took? I didn't really hear that part earlier, or I didn't remember.
Oh, we took a bit of scrap, of course, obvious. They didn't have food at all. I took this letter, and he sort of like fumbles around, finds it on his person. There's a letter from Captain Haith. Then
Haith.
cellophane. I took this. Don't worry about it. I'm getting through a list. The cellophane, money, and then after that, he takes up the winch cord. This hewn stone. Remember this beauty? Yeah.
Wait a second.
And I think B's got the sword somewhere. That's Elven sword.
Sylvia, you out there?
Yes, Captain Cutlass.
Can you... I'm sorry to ask this of you, because I know you're not actually our telecommunications array, but could you get a hold of B for me? Tell her to bring that sword up here?
I guess.
Alright, so... that stone. He called it an iron stone.
Yes, it did.
When I was a younger man, I worked for the Empire for a small period of time. Not very proud of it. I went into debt. I got into gambling. I got into trouble. Look, neither here nor there. I was on board an outpost, I'd say 45 years back, somewhere around there. There was this group that came through. I waved them on in. They were a bunch of messengers. They carried this box. Inside of it was one of those. They called it the Seed. Now that thing drew a thallium on us like fast. I mean, that didn't happen at the outpost, did it?
The outpost. I think from records, what I remember what was said, I think a thallium did show up. That's why we had to rush, mate.
Shit.
Cap.
Beatrix, the captain has asked for you to come aboard the deck with a sword.
Oh, okay. I was going to introduce Cullens to Carrot and Jack and Amos's baby, but I guess I can take the sword upstairs instead.
Wait, did you say they had a baby? You hear Cullen's like off to the
They
side.
have an egg. It's so cute.
An egg. Listen. Wait. Does that mean Carrot's a female Hodgkin? I don't know how that works.
I don't either, but either way, Carrot had an egg, and it's over in medical right now. You should go see.
Vicky off to the side goes, maybe we should just cook it! Make Red Iron happy when our diet changes! Cullens goes, what's wrong with her?
I don't know, something about Red Iron and telling her to go on a diet and not have bread. It's the worst thing ever.
Well, yeah, I'll go on up there. But you gotta bring a sword to the captain?
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, I just come with you?
Okay.
Alright.
And B will run to her bunk.
You see him like
Grab the
rubbing
sword.
his chest a little bit as he stands up and starts following you out of the room upstairs. So as you go up there, and Red Iron, you're still standing there nearby, and Leife, you've got this gemstone in your hand. The captain turns to you and goes, so wait. That thing box, it had a box with Elven script on it. I couldn't read it at the time. Does that mean that we went to this outpost thing of their accord? Did they send us here? How did they... I mean, Sylvia teleported us. How would anybody... That
Know
record
where you
didn't.
are?
That record didn't say anything about someone named Carver, did it?
Oh, yeah, for certain it did.
God damn it! We're being played by a damn divinator. We gotta figure out what his game is, and we gotta stop it. I don't know what he's up to, but that individual's bad news. We dealt with him way back in Zephyr days. He's got some game running. It's got something to do with that stone. I'm sure of it, and maybe that sword. I don't know. Is there anything special about it? Is it just technology or just a sword? What? B, you come up on the deck now carrying the Durandal's blade.
Hey, Captain! You look much better. Look, it's a sword.
Well, I mean, it looks nice. It's Elven and Meg. Oh, right, that sword. You showed it to me. Oh, my brain is
Exactly,
fuzzy.
and we all posed with it, and Levi decided I looked coolest, so it's mine.
Right, you look coolest. Got the.
I would like to go on record as saying I did not get an opportunity to pose with the blade. However,
Oh,
had I
here!
been offered one, I would have declined.
No, never mind.
Red Iron? Red Iron, that's not very sick.
All right.
I'm sorry. Do I appear under the weather or?
One more question
Yeah,
here.
it not me. Yeah.
Is
Oh,
somebody-
sorry, Cap.
Sylvia, can you call the rest of the crew out here? We need to have a powwow.
I am not your personal delivery bot.
Red
Sylvia,
Iron,
can you, Sylvia, can you connect me directly to the intercom system, please?
Of course, Red Iron.
Shipmaster, you may ask me to contact people now too.
Red Iron, can you please contact everybody else on the ship and have them come up? Leave Carrot and Collins. No, sorry, Collins. You are here already. Maybe. Okay, Collins is fine. Call everybody else up here.
Everyone on the ship that matters, come up.
Interesting way to put it, but I suppose that's fine. And Clara and you and Amos make your way up to the deck. You see Scarborough there. You see Bicky, like, standing hands on hips, looking at everybody. Bit of grease smeared across her
I heard
forehead.
Dorothy say sick. Is no one ill?
No. I don't. I mean, probably involving this crew, but not intentionally. Not specifically. Elves
I
have
see.
been
It was the
screwing with the
Indian
ship.
Matters.
There are elves that have been screwing with the ship, and they seem to be directing us somewhere, and I want to get to the bottom of it. We need to be careful about the actions that we take, because we don't want to be drawn into some sort of intergalactic space drama nonsense. We're just pirates, okay? I've been through this before. I don't want to deal with it again.
It's going to be a little bit difficult considering the body of characters that inhabit this ship, sir. It is my unprofessional opinion that we could so much as fart and something bad would happen.
Are you carrying a
Stairs,
giant
very...
egg?
Yes, I do in fact have a giant egg. I am the father of it.
Amos,
It's
I
Carrot
advise you to
and
curb your-
Amos's.
I
Cullens
would
goes.
advise you to curb your gloomier tendencies, Amos.
Cullens looks over at Amos and goes, "Congratulations!"
Thank you.
So the captain looks over at the sword. All right. What can you tell me about the sword? It has that weird inscription on it that's some sort of elvish gobbledygook. It sounds like a poem.
It's a poem, and it's really light, and it looks cool when you pose like this.
Nice. Red Iron, you're missing out.
Does anybody have anything else from this outpost? Any information at all that can help us avoid falling into some sort of like Tile trap?
A bunch of
yeah.
letters here.
You hand him over some letters? Well,
I retrieved some medical logs. I have been perusing them in my spare time.
medical logs, letters. Let's see. What does this thing say?
Question for the GM.
Yes, sir.
Did Amos see the name Carver inside the files? I remember he was accessing some files.
Amos heard it.
Gotcha.
So
I said it.
the B hands him out a paper that she had taken from the outpost a while ago, and he lifts it up and he goes, "Okay, some look medical log. Dr. Maris, medical officer to Captain Haith, he who shall not be named's family member, I'm assuming. Lycia."
That's his family.
Yep, that's the same surname. I can't help but question the method and safety of this research. We already know that the symbiote cannot survive fire or certain levels of atmospheric pressure. They're talking about thallium. They have some sort of nearly infinite communications with the greater stalks. That's disturbing. Removing that inner voice seems to drive them mad and uncontrollable. Why would we remove their weaknesses? The magistrate believes it to be necessary in order to fight upcoming threats. What could be worse than what we're already facing with alien life forms and the Silver Shield usurpers attempting to overthrow the king?
I might know.
Hold on. I'm gonna read the rest of this, then give me your thoughts. I believe it's only a matter of time. You see the captain reach down into a pocket and bring out like some glasses. None of you say anything about this on Saberhold. I believe it's
I see
only.
nothing, Captain.
It's good. It's only a matter of time before we develop these creatures in a way they can survive on the surface of a world. But their transmission vector could lead to untold civilian casualties. I do not think we should continue the research unless we have first discovered a method to control the creatures. I have a few ideas on that involving an ion stone and an eternal cage. Please, let's not succumb to the mad ideas of the magistrate. He sees things in millennia, certainly. Divinators are like that, but he could be missing the minutiae and cause undue pain. There's no way that I can scientifically trust the mind of the individual to glean every possible future outcome and see the methods by which the individual and the micro is accounted for when they are proven only to look at the macro. You see him just like crumple up the page. And he thinks better of it. As a cellophane. Take this, we can sell it.
Yes, Captain.
So, that research outpost you were in, that they were attempting to strip the weaknesses from a thallium.
Yeah, and they made the Uzu Chimera.
Exactly. There was an eyeball creature, but it had swallowed the stone, and then it hurt Cullens, and then it hurt Amos, and then I killed it.
And it was
With
very
fire.
desperate. It was very desperate to talk as well.
Did you learn anything from talking to it, Red Iron?
It had been isolated and tortured for a very long time, and this made it quite unpleasant.
That's not entirely true. I mean, it had friends, but it was just the scientists. And then when the military people took over, the scientists weren't allowed to be its friends anymore, and that's when it started being tortured.
You're
Yes,
saying something
that
based off of a
tracks.
thallium happened to develop an emotional connection with folk?
Yeah, and I wanted to be friends with it, but it started hurting Cullens, and I said I couldn't be friends with somebody who hurt my friends. And then I killed it.
Okay. And this thing triggered my whole episode when we got near it.
There was a bigger one, but probably.
Great. So you said you had some ideas on the note?
The question was asked if there's anything that could potentially be worse than what they were experimenting on, and I think I have an answer, which would be the second, which would be the coming of Cephrontes, which would erase all of our personalities and turn us all into automata under his control. That sounds worse,
So
I think.
the elves,
Machine gods are kind of jerks.
The elves are trying to create an army of self-replicating organic creatures to fight against machines.
Well, if it it seems only logical to assume that if these creatures were all in a hive mind of their own, then they would be less susceptible to being taken over by a different mechanical hive mind.
That tracks.
That's
Okay.
metal.
So who wins in all this? Who's the good guy? How do we make money off of this? Give me some ideas here, people.
Well,
Well,
I will let
No.
you speak first, Leifei.
I think we got two different ideas of making money, and I think two different streams of revenue. Well,
I think
all
we
right.
could
Now,
counter it with a third hive and just have bees.
nice.
Bee.
Bee?
Just because
When
your
did you
name
look at
is
my notes?
Beatrix doesn't mean you need bees.
No,
But
I was
bees are
designing a
fun.
drone based on the architecture of the bee and a social structure similar, but it is not strictly speaking a hive mind. It would take orders.
It's 3
from us.
hives.
I had a similar thought, actually.
Y'all
I
are
was
crazy.
curious.
So you're saying, okay, if I understand Leifei right in this circumstance, you're saying we can side with the elves, which are making ethalium terrors, or we can side with the machines, which are just gonna make us all machines, or we can side with bees and just sting everything in the galaxy.
Number
No, I-
three.
I like that.
Tool. They would be our tool, and they would just be one tool among many.
Of course.
Of
Fight
course,
a
they're-
hive mind with a hive mind.
That's not
It just makes
necessarily
sense.
a bad idea, but do we really want to get involved in all this?
Now that's what I'm thinking. Now I got
No.
this Yoon stone. We got this Yoon stone over there of the Uzuma Chimera. By the way, I'm patenting that name. I think we need to.
Go for it.
All right. So I don't think we need to side with nobody. The Thai L messed us up as a fleet a while ago. I don't like them. I'm sure everybody here doesn't like them.
Yeah.
It's true.
Machine God? All right, whatever.
Well, it's just one form of order after another. We're pirates. We fly free, right?
That's how it is, mate. Captain, sorry. Now, that doesn't mean we can't profit off this.
True.
One Yoon stone, one payday.
Does that thing do anything other than look pretty?
I mean, it makes Zap super big.
It's also a part of a. Well, and this is sort of like a sort of noble thing. I don't know. It sort of came to me in a.
Leifei,
No,
what
no,
are you
I'm-
hiding? I know when you've got something going on in there.
The rare few times. It's a part of the crown.
Part of the crown. What crown?
The king's crown.
King.
The king of the Tayel elves.
Yeah.
Loot.
But wouldn't he already have his crown? Why is it? I mean, where would we get the crown? I mean, that sounds like a lot of money, right?
Oh, there we are. I've been thinking about this whole week. So there's like, we got one. But there's many of these things. And then the crown and money.
How did we find the first one? How are we gonna find any? How many are there?
I sort of got a feeling when I came near the first one.
So you can sense that thing.
Yeah.
Shit. So all we gotta do is fly around the entire void and find the other ones. How many are there? Do you know?
That seems inefficient.
There's 7 of
7.
them.
So we
7.
just need to find 6 more.
7 priceless jewels. Where do we find the crown? I mean, if we're gonna put the whole thing together, right? One piece of it is in the sword.
Wait, is there anything on the sword? Amos says, stepping forward.
You look over,
There's
you
a
can see
poem.
you can see that there is elven metal around the outside, very well put together, but something much older makes up part of the blade. A piece of metal that seems to be different and out of place.
It's related to mithril, but it isn't really mithril because I can actually touch it.
Give the sword here.
You take it and look at it. It feels really light in your hand. Almost feels like you're carrying like balsa wood. Actually, it's super light.
All right. Amos is going to check the tip of the blade, see how sharp it is.
You just prick your finger with it. Slides through the skin of your finger.
Amos looks really cool.
Like you didn't touch it.
Okay, then.
Amos, do a pose.
Do it.
Let me look at this first. What's on the blade? And can we get it in writing?
Roll aware. We do have it in writing already, but I can share it into the.
I got it.
Yeah, Leifei's got it.
Would you like someone to dictate the poem, ASMR style?
Certainly.
Oh, wrong one.
That's the missive, not the. Yeah. There you go. Durandal poem. Go ahead, Benjamin. You can read the Durandal poem.
All that is silver does not sparkle. Many will wander as ghosts. The willful shall not wither and break, capable and strong, the blood and bond. From the ashes shall spring anew, a light from the shadows shall rise. Renewed shall the mantle broken be, a new king leads to new life. Calamus Durandal, 7, Section 2.
Wait, Leifei, you saw the crown in a vision, and we have a sword that's talking about the crown. What if you're the king? Then we'd have all the loot.
I'd buy
That'd
that.
be cool.
So I'm guessing the plan is assemble the crown, put Leifei at the head, usurp the Tile Empire as a.
Wait. We're going a little
warriors.
far. I just wanted to get the crown pieces itself.
With our bees!
I mean.
No bees! We already have a rogue ship engine sill thing.
Clarion.
Also, didn't you say see a sill, slay a sill?
Clarion and Red Iron?
Well, yeah, that's rule number 1.
Go ahead and roll brains for me real quick. Just for a moment. No reason, just do it. 11 from Red Iron and 7 from Clarion. Okay, well.
I mean, she's really trying to puzzle this out, so I think I'm gonna ace that.
All right, go ahead and give that
I was
a roll.
actually thinking of acing that too.
There's a 20
gang.
from Clarion. You don't necessarily need to roll Red Iron to.
I did worse. So it goes.
You have no idea. But Clarion, as you look at that, Leifei had stated that there is 7 gemstones for this crown. That poem seems to have the word 7 in it and the word 2 in it for some reason. You think something is up immediately upon that, and you feel the need to ask if Leifei remembers where this gemstone sat in the crown.
Leifei, where did this particular gemstone sit within the crown?
Leifei, you remember you did have the crown in mind. I'll let you roll brains to see if you remember at the moment. You can try again later, but you need to have a 12 or higher to actually remember right now.
Big brain.
That is
Oh.
a 4. You don't remember.
I'm not gonna ace this because I think it actually totally fits. I don't know. I can barely remember. Well, I know that.
All right.
This asteroid belt, was it from any particular origin?
B.
I have some thoughts about this asteroid belt.
Go ahead, Renner.
I think this might be the remains of a planet
Ooh.
that was destroyed.
That would make sense.
And this planet was I don't remember, it was destroyed by what would become Silver Shield. It's very complicated.
So we go to Silver Shield.
How did you come by this information, Red Iron?
Sylvia. Don't worry, she didn't show me. I found it inside of her data cores. It's not like it's a manipulation. I know you're all very suspicious. I was exploring.
That was not my thought. I am just curious as to what else Sylvia knows about.
I guess I feel a little defensive, but yes, I am also curious as to what Sylvia knows. Here is the thing. This is the coup de grace. The navigation console is concealing some kind of coordinate, and I think this might all be related somehow.
And with
Then
that
I am glad to
statement, as we see Red Iron's face indicating that all of this is connected in some way that has yet to be discovered, tonight's episode fades to black as we end Sparrows for this evening. Thank you very much for watching, everybody. Hope you've enjoyed yourselves. We're going to go around this table, say who we are, and where we can find you. And, of course, at this point, what do you think is going to happen sometime soon sometime in the future of this show? I'm curious to see what your thoughts are. And we're going to start at random like before. This time it is Gwen. You're up first.
Wow. Hello, everybody. I am Gwen or McSherry. Most nights you can find me over there in chat modding. But on Fridays you can find me here playing B. And on Tuesdays, you can now find me delivering news on Roll Charisma. In terms of my vision for what I expect to see, I see Lei Fei with a crown that's just blazing light, the badass sword, and an army of robot bees behind him.
Badass sword, clown blazing light. That's Lei Fei. The clown blazing light. And swarm of bees. We'll move on over to Jackal. Your turn.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting that to happen. Wow. Hi folks, I'm Jackal. I play Amos Descendi. Now I'm a father. You can find me here every Tuesday. I do the recap on Roll Charisma. Yeah, and here again every Friday. Yeah. Something I'm looking forward to. Possibly going to see. The way everything is going, because it sounds like something would happen. I don't think that thing that's going to pop out of the egg is going to be Lesrin. I just have this sneaking suspicion, like, no, this isn't going to be how it is. It's not been like that. There's been more hairpin turns and jackknife dives than... I don't know, Ty.
True.
I don't know.
Things have been a bit sketch at various times. I'm sure it'll be fine. It'll be fine.
No.
It'll be fine.
Really?
It'll be fine. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. And we're going to move on over to Nora. Your turn.
Hi, I'm Nora, also known as Zetadine. You can find me on the Cornfields and Kobolds podcast, found wherever your pods are casted. There I play Coilina Firetree, a Southern Belle bard who loves insulting people to death. So tune in for that. And I will be rejoining our friend of the channel, Ruby Heart, this Sunday for some Dark Souls, starting at 1 p.m. Eastern. Yeah, for the future of this fine ship, I am just going to put out there that I would like the Archimedes to become a hive of
like it isn't already.
robo bees with a little bit of scum and villainy thrown in on the side.
Robo bees with scum and villainy. Yeah. All right, moving on over. Speaking of scum and villainy, Kai, your turn.
Hey, what's up, gang? Your local scum, your local villain. My name's Kai Roche. I play Life. Other things. Blah blah blah. Where I see this thing going, we might meet up with. No, I don't know. I have some sort of feeling that we might be going towards. And I'm gonna pop open my notebook here because I took a bunch of notes during the early parts. Scyther.
Zyther? Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, Scyther. I think we're gonna be heading on Scyther way. I don't know why.
Just have this.
But
that's where you're going.
the origin of all things. That's sort of my vibe. You know.
Wonder what you could find on a molten planet. Moving on over to Benjamin.
Hey everybody, I'm Benjamin. You can find me on Twitter at ttbenjamin1. I am the host, dungeon master, editor, etc. of the Lawful Great Adventures Actual Play Podcast, a Pathfinder First Edition podcast about 4 friends on a long journey home. We are about a month away. You heard it here, episode 69.
Nice.
Which is both the sex number and an homage to the Adventure Zone balance. Will probably be the finale of our first campaign, so we've still got about a month to catch up. Lawful Great Adventures, you can find us at great_lawful. I also play Jaber Valjean on Shared Experiences Ripples in the Gray Twitch stream. That is on Tuesdays. That is a Star Wars, also space pirate adventure. So I am just a space pirate in my heart. Where I think this is going. Gosh, here's the thing. I actually have like a whole like the gif of the guy like the conspiracy wall. Like I feel like I actually have this, but I don't want to like say it and then either be right and then Ty changes it, or be wrong and then I spent a bunch of time and energy on the wrong thing. So here's what I think. I think there is definitely some sort of a massive conflict between literally the god of machines and the elves that predates the Silver Shield Empire. And here's what I think is going to happen. They really want us to get caught in the middle of it, but I think we're about that loot. I think we're about that loot, baby. I think that's what we're about. So if they don't have sufficient cheddar, we will be in the middle of nothing.
There you go.
And they can take a walk.
Take a short walk off a long pier. Wait, the other way around.
I like the way you think, Benjamin.
That was a good one. I'm not going to confirm or deny anything there, but I do appreciate the vim, verve, and gusto that you're going for. Yes, I checked out some more of Great Lawful recently, by the way. I pleasantly watched like 10 episodes, so definitely go do that. It is beautiful, and I love the production quality of it. And Shared Experience, they're awesome as well. So is Ruby. Ruby Hard is amazing, so go check out that stuff. We actually will be, both me and Benjamin, I believe, I don't know if anybody else here at the moment because I can't remember, are going to be on a fundraiser with Shared Experience next month. I have a one-shot running on July 3rd of 119. I promised never to run it again, but I'm going to do it anyway. And some of you need to be there. So I will be running that with a few wonderful faces on the 3rd, and that is at 1 Eastern Standard Time to 4. Which is about an hour shorter than I usually run it. So we're going to be doing this one breakneck speed. But then again, we also have another fundraiser here next Thursday at 5:30 Pacific time, 5, 6, 7, 8, whatever that is, 8 o'clock Eastern, if you want to go by Eastern. That is for the Trevor Project. It is an LGBTQ plus A plus. I'm tired. A fundraiser for individuals that need some help sometimes, and we'll be running that in honor of Pride Month, since that's where we're part of. So be there for that this upcoming Thursday. There are no other shows next week because that's our off week, so we will be back Friday after next for more Sparrows. Hopefully you have enjoyed this tonight. If you have, give us a follow. We happen to be running a follow challenge, trying to get 250. I think we're 162 now, which isn't too bad. But if we reach that, I'll be giving away five copies of this game we're playing here for free, PDFs to some of our lucky followers, and I will be making a piece of art for one lucky individual that is custom. It is whatever you want it to be, but I will be working on that. And we'll be running a Crash Pandas one-shot here as a reward on the channel. So thank you all for watching again. Yeah, hopefully we see you again soon. I'm going to see if I can set up a raid, so stick around for that. But good night, and take care of yourselves out there, everybody. Bye.